listen, someone goes like, oh, Batman's like, I'm Batman. Bah! He hits him in the head and he gives a little smooch. Headbutt smooch. It's a boo-boo, but he headbutts him. Great scene. And then, wonderful callback, because there's the hobo from earlier chat where he gives Bruce the coat. He says, it's a nice coat. This is a nice coat. And Batman sees him. The hobo's like, holy fucking shit. Batman goes, nice coat. And he goes up in the air. Hobo's like, whoa. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. That's what I'll do, Chad. Oh, boy. But now, my friends, now again, well, in case you got in here, again, Ingenuity, thank you for your gifted subs. That was so kind. You're all welcome to Evernights. Cheers and salute to your Ingenuity. Thank you. But now, my friends, we must get into tonight's review. I'm going to go into a lot of specific details about this film, what the state of the Batman franchise was during this movie when it came out, and before, Chad, and right after Batman and Robin came out. I know the history of this. Warner Brothers had many ideas, Chad, about what they wanted to do. But the first question I want to ask you, Chad, typically I like to ask you a very important question before we get into all the nitty-gritty details, and that is, how many of you have seen Batman Begins, Chad? I myself, I saw this film in the theaters, I think like twice. I think it was, maybe it was 2 or 3 times. Really enjoyed it, Chad. As a lifelong Batman fan, grew up in the Batman animated series and all that. That's when I first saw Batman. Seeing Batman in this way was such a goddamn thrill, especially characters like Ra's al Ghul and Scarecrow. It was like, wow, it was so dark and gritty, and it felt so real. Loved it. Loved it as a child. And still do to this day. Who else we got here? Chris Harris, many times now, Brownie plays Kiss from a Rose. Dark Slayer, seen him many times. My favorite Batman movie, Jason Bear, Israel Max. I'm looking forward to get a Suicide Squad, more coming. Heights in the me too. Edman once or twice. Kesma, yes, in theaters. Breathe. I'm breathing. I'll breathe when I want to. Alex Manella, yes, I loved it and even got the DVD, and I never get those. Kaz Faye, great movies. Chris Harris, never seen these movies, only the Burton ones. Interesting. Because here's, I just think this was a prequel to the Burton Schumacher movies. Ha ha! And the Dark Knight happened. Yeah, interesting. I think a lot of people probably thought that. I've seen it 5 to 10 times in my lifetime, Jason Bear Clad. I think it's the weaker of the 3 movies. Really, I do think that all of them are good. Deadpool, love this movie. It's great. Philly Juan's, it was 8 out of 10 for me. So a lot of people have seen this movie. Some people haven't. Some maybe don't. But as I said, Chad, I saw this movie at least 2, maybe possibly 3 times in the theater. Just in 2000, when it came out in 2005, loved it. Remember, loved the chat, loved the dark and gritty tone. Loved that really went into it. It was the movie that really did explore why Batman is Batman. Like, you got to remember, chat, in context of all the, yes, we have the animated show out there, and it did all that. It showed like why Batman is Batman. You know, showed his history, what informed his life to become a vigilante superhero, and the animated series did that. But for most people, you know, a lot of people, you know, in the mainstream didn't watch the animated show, and they only had the movies, right? And you had the Burton films, you had the 2 Burton movies, you had the 2 Joel Schumacher films, and they really did a very cookie cutter origin story for Batman, like the first Batman movie. His parents are dead. There were pearls. The Joker maybe killed his parents. The young Jack Napier, maybe that's what. And that was it. And then he became Batman. We never saw like what led up to him becoming Batman, like the training that was involved. That was just kind of ignored across all the movies, you know. But Nolan said, no, I want to explore why this guy is doing what he's doing. And I think that's what the movie excels most at, is really for the first time delving into Batman, Bruce Wayne as a character, providing a lot of context for his trauma, for his fear. That's the big theme of the movie, Chad. It's fear. right? How fear informs us, how it controls us, how it puts us down a path. Could be either light or dark or somewhere in between. That's what this movie's mentioned, and it's so appropriate that they use a villain like the Scarecrow, who is all about fear. He uses fear for villainous purposes, where Batman uses fear to fight crime, but also to bring hope to Gotham at the same time, but striking fear into the criminal element. And all these various villains, like that is the main theme. And then you have, escalation is the main theme of the Dark Knight with the Joker. It's like, okay, it's like we start buying semi-automatics, they buy automatics. We buy Kevlar, they start buying armor-piercing rounds, and you're wearing a fucking mask. What's going to answer you? And that was the Joker. That's that theme of the movie's escalation. And Dark Knight Rises is goofy voices. I don't know what the theme of Dark Knight Rises is. That's a good question. I don't know. A lot was lost in that film. But when Batman Begins, it was fear. And the movie came out, chat, and it critically did very well. Again, a lot of people, critics, a lot of the focus was on like, wow, you really just gave a lot of context to who Batman Bruce Wayne is as a person, and and then it was some really cool atmospheric scenes, chat, like the art direction, the production wise, great movie. They spent a fucking lot of money on this movie, $150 million budget, chat. But relatively low box office, honestly, because, and the big reason for this, chat, is because it still had the stink. You gotta remember, the Batman franchise, cinematic franchise, still had the stink of Batman and Robin, and to maybe I'll say to the same extent, but similar extent with Batman Forever, where people just associated Batman with George Clooney with bat nipples, and Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger doing ice puns the whole time. That was it. And so that's why the movie kind of relatively underperformed for one of those, but Warner Bros. Was so committed to Nolan. They had worked with him in a lot of his previous films. And they said, hey, we want to continue with you and doing this franchise. Of course, they wanted the Joker next. And we got the Dark Knight. It became one of the highest grossing movies of all time. So, history, yeah. Then, and then, chat, and then we moved on. We got all this great Batman stuff, thankfully, with these first two movies, in my opinion. I know that people like Dark Knight Rises. I'm not a big fan of it. But, with this movie and The Dark Knight, it brought a lot of respectability back to Batman cinematically. Now, as I said before, with Batman Begins, the reason why his box office was so low is because of the stink of Batman Robin. When Batman Robin came out, it made however much money it did. It still was, obviously a critical disappointment, a commercial disappointment. And the Batman franchise, after that movie, really didn't know what direction to go in. Joel Schumacher was still attached. People don't know this. A lot of people don't know this. Joel Schumacher was still attached to do a third Batman film. And it was going to be called, they had many different titles, many different ideas. But the one that always stuck out to me personally, it was going to be called, I think it was like Batman Victory, I believe. It was that. And the main villain of the movie would have been Scarecrow, which we actually make Dr. Jonathan Crane is in Batman Forever. He is the warden and caretaker of Arkham Asylum. We see him as he takes Nicole Kidman's character to see Jim Carrey's Riddler at the end of the film. There's also an alternate opening in the film when he goes to check on Tommy Lee Jones' Harvey Dent, which is actually kind of a darker opening. He fucks up this one guy, hangs him from his cell. He somehow escaped. He somehow managed to dig through fucking concrete and barbed wire and just got out of his cell. It's crazy. But Scarecrow was set up to be the next villain in the movie. And it would have brought back other villains too. It would have also involved a subplot with Harley Quinn, who would not be the lover of Joker, but be the daughter of Jack Nicholson's Joker. And a part of that movie would have had either George Clooney's Batman or whoever was going to play Batman. He would be exposed to the Scarecrow's fear talks early on in the film, and he would constantly have vision and hallucinations of his worst fear. And his worst fear, Chad, is the Joker. And Jack Nicholson was supposed to come back as the Joker and act as kind of the secondary villain of the movie, and to work through Batman, like his trauma, and like try to help him through like these visions of the Joker, his ultimate enemy. He somehow finds the daughter of the Joker. And that was going to be one of the big things in the film. Movie did not coalesce. Did not coalesce. They were like they scrapped that idea. There was talk. I don't know if there's any scripts out there, but there was talk about doing a Batman Beyond movie sometime in the either 99 or 2000 or 2001. And It would have had, again, an older Bruce Wayne, Terry McGinnis, all that. Don't know if they would have brought back Michael Keaton or something, or one of the other Batmans. Maybe Michael Keaton, I don't know. But it would have had that story, and it would have involved the Joker, a resurrected Joker, and they were considering bringing back Jack Nicholson for that. That was also another idea. That did not coalesce. There was the Darren Aronofsky version of a Batman movie, a Batman reboot and origin story, and it was fucking weird. I'm not the biggest Darren Aronofsky fan. I've talked about this before, and his Batman idea was out there, where he would have had, it would have been a very, very, very loose adaptation of Batman Year One, where Bruce would have been adopted. I guess he doesn't have any access to his money, but his parents died. He would have been adopted by a junkyard owner named Big Alfred, who had a son, Dick, or something like that, or like Dick Grayson, like the Robin-esque character, like a little child. Don, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Wow, wee woo. Thank you. Congratulations to Brandon Huggies. I'm just going to put a pin in the Batman discussion chat because I want to thank Don. Thank you, Don. Brandon Huggies, Arnav Sharma, Ariel Panda, TD Mathis, and BMC51. You are the proudest of 5 minutes of ad-free viewing. Thank you, Don. How you doing today? I'm just doing my review of Batman Begins right now. Talking about the history leading up to this movie. During the interim period. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Oh, and the Man Bat. Yeah, the Man Bat was supposed to be involved too. I forgot about that. Yeah, and Batman Mitchell would have been fucking nuts. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Don. Really do appreciate that. Hope you're having a good day, my friend. I know that your job, it's been tiring you out, but I'm happy to have you here. Thank you for your generosity. Yeah, look at that. Thank you, thank you so much. But yes, as I was saying, so in Darren Aronofsky's version, so he would have had Batman somehow not having access to all his fucking money, or he would have been adopted by Alfred. Thank you, Alex Bernova, the hosts. As we say, chat, the hosts help me. Help spread the word of the Revenites. Hopefully get more Revenites. And also, Huckleberries, followers, chat. Appreciate that. New fans. Just wanted to say goodnight. Crazy 70-hour work. Ooh, haven't had a day off in 11. Oh, shit, man. Then get your sleep. No, Don, thank you for that. Really do appreciate it. That was a very kind hello. You get your sleep, buddy. 11-day work week. Oh, my God. 70 hours a week. I can't do that anymore. I would not be able to do that. I would just explode. I would just spontaneously combust. I would implode and then explode. It would be horrible. It would be horrible. No, thank you, Don. Have a great evening. Sleep well. Do appreciate that. But the whole idea was he was going to be adopted by this junkyard owner, this mechanic who worked on cars, and his name be Big Al. And I think Big Al would have like a son, and I think he'd be like a reference to Robin, like a very young son. And Bruce would live in the junkyard, and that's how he would make his bat suit, and that's how he would make the Batmobile, chat, by this junked out car. I think it was I forget what it was, like a Cadillac or something. Maybe it was a Cadillac, maybe it was something else. But that's what it would have been. And it would have been a very loose adaptation. I think maybe Catwoman was involved. I don't know. And it would have been a very, very, very loose adaptation of Year One and of Batman in general. I'm not a big fan of Aronofsky in general as a filmmaker, and I don't know if I would have wanted to see that. It would have been pretty goofy. But they scrapped that because I think Aronofsky, like he always does, anytime he's involved in a superhero film, he's like, oh, we got it, Darren Aronofsky. And I'm like, yeah, for how long? When's he going to drop out? And start the timer. Let's see how long he lasts on this production. And so he eventually dropped out of that film. And then, Warner Brothers said, okay, well, we were going to give it to a tested filmmaker who's pretty much done these smaller films, but has done right by us. And this was Nolan, who at this time, Chad, I believe had only did 3 films. He did a film called The Following, which is more of like an artistic, I don't know if he got any theatrical release, but almost kind of like a student film. But he did The Following. But then his first theatrical movie was Memento, which was a great film. Critical darling. One of my favorite movies of all time. I love Memento. And then he also did Insomnia, chat, with Al Pacino and Robin Williams. I think one of his most underrated movies ever. But I wish he would go back to that kind of filmmaking, chat. Character-based, where people are actually having a fucking conversation you can understand. Let's get those movies from Nolan again. Let's get something like Memento or like Insomnia. And he did those, and they approached him, and he wanted to do again that kind of that gritty, realistic take on Batman, but also explore his origins in a way. Because when you hear like explore Batman's origins, like again, but no, he was the first one to really like. No, I want to go into like what made him Batman outside of the dead parents, okay? Because there was other things involved. And that's what I like best about this movie. He made some very inspired choices for this film, in particular, chat, of making Bruce, like his mentor figure. It starts out in the film, Henri Ducard, who is actually, played by Liam Neeson, who's actually Ra's al Ghul, or as they call him, Ra's al Ghul. But he's trained by the League of Assassins, the League of Shadows. I'm like, that is fucking awesome. And that's the connection to that character. And I was like, what an inspired take on his origin. It makes so much sense because, like in the comic shit, the animated series, he went all around the world and trained with all these various people, whether it be from martial arts or like escape artist chat. So I met like Zatara and Zatanna and things, and like all these other different people. The greatest detectives around the world and everything. But it was like that was really inspired was to actually make his mentor, who would later become one of his greatest enemies and villains. Like that was really cool. Witness! Witness me! Mr. Hummendinger, thank you so much for the raid. Everybody on the dance floor, raid. I'm just in the middle of my review of Batman Begins. It's about to get into nitty-gritty details, just talking about the context, the history of the film itself, and why I think it stands the test of time, why it's very important. And also just kind of showed what the context of the franchise was during this 8-year interim period between Batman and Robin and Batman Begins. Good to see you, Mr. Hummendinger. What were you playing? What were you streaming? I am curious. Because I like Tenet? No. No, I didn't see it. I haven't seen Tenet. So I can't even say. But everything that people have told me, I'm just like, I don't like the sound of this. I have not yet seen Tenet. But all I'm saying is, based on some other films, like last Nolan movie I really liked was Inception. That was like the last one. That was over a decade ago. But like stuff like Interstellar and what was the other one? The World War II movie, Dunkirk. I was like, yeah, didn't care for them. Maybe because the movie that was missing a rape scene according to Zack Snyder. Yeah, that's right. Because Zack Snyder says my Batman can get raped in prison, and that makes it a movie for grown-ups. So, fair enough. Zack Snyder, Mr. Snyder. But Buzzmax got to win 731 in Fall Guys chat. Please check out Mr. Hummendinger streams. He is a Fall Guys expert in the 0.02 upper percentile of Fall Guys players around the world. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I'll do Tenet someday. No, I'll check it out. I will review it. I'm not gonna watch it until it comes to HBO Max though, and then I'll do a review for it on my channel. And we'll see if I like it. Maybe I will like it, chat. Maybe I shouldn't go in there with these preconceived notions. All this negative people saying like blah. But I'll give it a shot. I will give it a shot, chat. Brown Carizian, welcome to stream. Hope you're doing very well. Currently in the middle of my Batman Begins review. But that's what I like about the movie, Chad. Like Nolan made some very inspired choices for Batman. And we're really going into the nitty-gritty details of his origin story, unlike any other filmmaker. Now it's like before him. But now we've gotten these origin stories. I never want to see another Batman origin story at this point. Like we can move on from this. That's why Zack Snyder did. It's like, no, we got to see him get shot again. It's like the parents get shot. It's like, fuck, why? But this time it's in slow motion. Great, Zack. Inspired choice. So Nolan did the right thing. Honestly, like the only criticism I have of this movie, the only really big criticism I have in this film, and this is a problem I think for a lot of like just Nolan in general, is he really doesn't, and I understood what he was going for in this movie. I'll talk about when we get to some of these scenes. But when it comes to the hand-to-hand like action scenes, like the martial arts scenes, he doesn't know how to film them. Or maybe he chooses to film them in a very specific way, which is very close up with a lot of edits, with a lot of editing involved. And it's frustrating because, as we know, Batman is a fighter. He's a mixed martial artist. He knows all these different forms of fighting. And the reason why he did it, he says he did it in this movie because he wanted to make Batman like he's so otherworldly in terms of how he fights people that it just you can't even process. You're like, what the fuck? And people just start running away. Now, the one things I think he does very well is how he has Batman move in the shadows. How he talks about very similar to something like Batman Arkham Asylum, like the dock scene with all the crates. When you see that one guy walk up to the crate and he just gets fucking sucked into the darkness, that shit is awesome. That's awesome. The Predator-esque scenes, you know, because they call it Predator mode in the Batman Arkham games. Like those are all very good. Or when he's like when that one guy is like, "Where are you?" Here. Ah! And he grabs him and goes up in the air. All that shit's amazing. But when it comes to the hand-to-hand fight scenes, it's like, yeah, that's the big weak point across the trilogy. Even I love The Dark Knight, but you know, even that's still an issue. So yeah, he said he did it because he wanted to make Batman feel just so otherworldly when he's fighting with people that you can't even comprehend what you're seeing, that you just fucking run, and he's moving so fast. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I would have liked to have seen him actually fighting that way. But all the Predator-esque things that he does, great. That is good. Movie does a lot right, but that is the one. And the chase scenes in the movie are excellent. The Tumbler Batmobile chase scene across the rooftops and across Gotham, even though he's clearly fucking and murdering the police force, he obviously is doing that. It's very good. All the chase scenes in the trilogy are quite good, especially and also in The Dark Knight with the Batpod and all that. But the Batmobile, I forgot how good the Tumbler scene is. Holds up to this day. And he uses a lot of practical effects here. There's CGI, obviously, Chad. There's CGI in the movie. But a lot of the practical effects that are used in the film, it's like, God, you can tell why this movie was so expensive, because the amount of sets they created, all the costuming, just all of that, Chad. I mean, they pump money in this film. You can tell it's all around you. And the CGI, and Chris Nolan's smart. I always give him this. He knows how to use CGI, especially in his Batman films, because most of these movies take place at night, and CGI always looks better in the dark because you can mask it. And here it stands the test of time. Same with The Dark Knight, even with Dark Knight Rises. And Dark Side of the Puppets, Batman should have been more stealth-based in this movie. That's just me. No, I agree with you. He is in this movie, and also in Dark Knight. But I agree with you. They should have just made it more like that, where he is. I mean, he's trained like a ninja, and he's hopping around and doing all this stuff. And that's when the action is at the best, and the chase sequence at the end, and the train sequence at the end of the movie too. But yeah, that's my big criticism of the film. But now, Chad, I know I spent all this time just going over just the history of this film and like what happened, what was the the interim period between these movies. But now let's get to the nitty gritty. I don't even like how this movie opens, Chad. I remember like when the trailer came out, I thought the teaser trailer was not good. It had this like really bad music, I thought, and it was all these really quick cuts. Not a good marketing campaign. I think it also hurt the film. But I do like how the movie starts out. The title sequence is revealed, where it's just fucking massive flock of bats. A lot of bats, a lot of CGI bats in this movie. This massive flock of bats against this brown, like the color scheme for this film is brown. Which is fine. It matches for what Nolan is going for, whereas in the next movie, it's blue and gray and black. This one is very much brown. Just how the narrows look, Chad, just certain scenes, like the back, just a lot of brown. He used the brown filter for this. And it works in the movie. It just makes you feel like, wow, Gotham's a fucking nightmare to live in. You do not want to live in Gotham. He captured that very well. It's like, it felt like he was still keeping a foot. It was like in the real world, but also fantastical. And eventually he would take that foot out of the fantastical. Now it's just Chicago. But he was kind of like towing the line between both, where you had like normal Gotham for like the majority of the city, and then you had this fucking weird little part of Gotham, this Escape from New York, Arkham City part, where that's the Narrows, and we don't fucking go there, and everything's brown, and everything's made of garbage. It's very weird. But yeah, there's dirt. But I don't mind it. I kind of like that. It was interesting to me. And I think that aesthetic holds up to this day. It made sense for Batman because he is. I mean, it's still a fantasy film, Chad. It's still sci-fi, of course. And I wouldn't have minded if he still kept that kind of tone for Dark Knight, but he didn't. But it was fine. It was fine. I like it for this movie. It works for what he's working with here. The movie starts out, great title sequence, where you have this huge flock of bats, Chat, and you see, like, the bat symbol coming together, like, almost like, but it's not, like, full, but you can still see the outline of it. It looks very natural. Same with the bat signal later in the movie. And then you see Batman Begins. And then, hard cut, and we see little Bruce Wayne and little Rachel. We see Rachel Dawes, Chat. They are childhood friends. Rachel is the only friend he has, Chat. That's the... Rachel, she's the daughter of the head maid that works at Wayne Manor. And what is little Bruce Wayne and little Rachel Dawes doing that? They're culturally appropriating Native American culture, Chat. They're culture appropriating. That's what they do. That's what the Waynes have always done. And they're chasing and playing tag and shit. And Rachel, she has something in her hand. She sees culturally appropriate something. And Bruce is like, what's in your hand, Rachel? And she goes, it's this. And he sees it's an arrowhead, Chat. It's a primeval arrowhead. And he's like, mine! And he's like, I am a culture appropriating this now, Rachel. And he runs away. And she's like, Bruce, no, I want it. And he's like, ha! And then he fucking trips and he falls down a goddamn well. Ha! That's what you get. That is what you get. And he falls, boom, he hits the goddamn ground. She's like, oh! He's all fucked up and shit. And Rachel's like, Bruce, oh my God, Bruce, I'm going to go tell my mom. I'm going to tell Alfred it's okay. I will be back. And she runs away. And, I'm become Batman already, little Batman. But Bruce, he's like, oh, he's not crying, but he's like, I'm a little fucked up. I'm a little fucked up here. Racist. Yes, they were the whole time. That's okay, chat. They helped escape slaves in the Civil War. We'll find that the Batcave, chat. This is a cool little revelation later on. The Batcave was a part of the Underground Railroad. It's cool. But he's getting up, but he looks into the cave, chat, and it's like, oh, it's all fucked up and weird. It's like, what is that? Like, it leads to a tunnel, and here's. And then, bah! And all the bats come out and say, racist! Racist is like this, it's like poltergeist shit. It's like the spirits. It's like in Poltergeist where they built the houses on a Native American burial ground. And the Native Americans are like, fuck that, fuck you, white guy. And they come at him, Chad. All the bats start, they start attacking. He's like, oh, oh, oh! And he starts fucking freaking out. He starts fucking freaking out because he's all covered in bats, chat. It's like childhood trauma, chat. I'm sure it won't negatively affect him in any capacity. But then, chat, hard cut, boom. And we see Bruce. Like 20 years later. 20 years later, and he is waking up in a concentration camp. It's like, whoa, okay, hard cut. He apparently is in China. I believe it's China, chat. We see the red Chinese star, and apparently he's in a concentration/work camp, which those things are indeed real. Those things are real, chat. We have modern-day concentration camps in China, in North Korea, and other places around the world. And he wakes up one of these things. And we have this one guy says, you were fucking screaming your ass off. He's like, it's the bats, man. It's those goddamn bats. And he's getting up. It's like, what happened to Bruce? Why is Bruce here, chat? He's going through all this. He's the fucking Prince of Gotham. Why is he in this work camp? We're going to find out. And he's getting up. He gets out of his little cot, chat, and the prison is over. I love it, chat. This is just so cool. This is the first Batman movie where we go international, and he's in some like concentration work camp in China. You know, it's like, this is cool. This is very, very different. This looks fucking miserable. They filmed outside. You can actually see their breath and everything, like inside the facilities. Like, I just love it. It's perfectly I just love how we go from this rich grand estate of the Waynes to this work camp in China. And he sees this very, very large and very chubby Chinese man just staring at him. And he's like, shall think of the Tiffany's. My heart's a pitter-pattering as we speak. But he shall rise, indeed. Thank you so much, Joe. And this chubby Chinese man is like, I want to kill you. I'm going to kill you. And he's like, Bruce is like, ah, shit. And he goes outside. And he's getting his daily helping of gruel, chat. And it's very much gruel. It's got a little piece of glass in there. Got a little piece of celery. Maybe a couple of soggy, spongy bread chunks. And his one buddy, chat, his one buddy is saying, oh, yeah, that guy, he wants to kill you. They call him, he's like the demon. And he's like, that guy ain't no demon. And he's like, Bruce goes past him. The guy hits the fucking gruel pot out of Bruce's hand. And Bruce is like, what the fuck? And he's like, I am the devil, and I don't like you. And Bruce is like, you're not the devil. You're just practice. And actually, this is probably one of the better hand-to-hand fight scenes, chat. And they start fucking going at it, chat, right in the middle of the yard, just covered in fucking mud. Everyone starts joining the fight. Everyone starts brawling. And Bruce he's just fucking punching and swinging anything he can, chat. But Bruce, this is not the mixed martial arts artist that we'll see later on in the movie, chat. Because he's getting his ass kicked. I mean, he's holding his own. Definitely holding his own, chat. No question about it. But he's getting his ass kicked at the same time. He's throwing some punches. He's beating the shit out of the one guy who called himself the devil. You're not the devil. You're practice. That's your new name now, right now. But eventually, the guards, the concentration camp guards, they walk up and they start beating everybody with fucking batons, like fuck, and they grab Bruce because he's white, chat. And they put him in a room of solitary confinement. They just throw him in there. But Bruce, he's not alone, chat. He's not alone. You know who's in there, chat? Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson's in there, chat. Bruce is like, who are you? He's like, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Henri Ducard, asterisk. Henri Ducard, asterisk. And he's like, what the hell do you want from me? Oh, no, I wanted to meet the Bruce Wayne. You know who I am? Oh, yes, I know your family. I know of your family. And I just came to see what has transpired to lead you into such a state, to such an abode as this. Is like, I don't want to tell you nothing. And Henri Ducard, he started saying, "Listen, man, I know what's happened to you. I know what's happened to your family. What if I gave you the power? What if I gave you the power to take your destiny in your hands? What if I gave you the abilities, the strength, the resources, the drive to drive crime from the place at which you were birthed, Gotham City? What if I gave that to you?" And Bruce is like, I'd be interested in doing something like this. He's like, cool, excellent, glad to hear it. Now listen, this is what you got to do. I'm going to tell these guards to drop you off in this, like, weird mountain pass thing, okay, on this dirt road. You got to find a blue fucking flower, okay? We're all big on the blue flowers, all right? You find this flower. You climb up a goddamn mountain. It's all covered in snow, all right? You take it to this temple, this giant, massive temple. You knock on that door 1, 2, 3, 3 times, Bruce. Count with me. 1, 2, 3. We'll let you in, and we'll see if you are worthy of us. I belong to a very mysterious organization. In no way are we evil, okay? We're all good. We're just here to fight justice, all right? We want to fight for justice. He's like, sounds good. And so he gets put in a little car, chat, a little truck. They send him out. They fucking throw him out of it. And he makes the journey to the temple, chat. He finds this icy flower. This flower has grown among this ice. And it's like this snowy hill. He takes it, chat, and he makes the journey up there. He's got fucking frostbite and shit. It's terrible. Looks just, and the cinematography, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. The cinematography in this movie is gorgeous. They do use some CGI, but they shoot a lot of this on location, and wow, it looks really, really cool. Especially some of the fight scenes we see later on, like the sword battle between Ra's and Bruce in a bit. Very, very good. Very well choreographed. But he goes up here. He's like, he sees this like little village that also lives in this temple too. And they're all like, oh, shit, white guy. And I haven't seen him before. And he goes up there. She starts knocking on the goddamn door. Starts 1, 2, 3. Boom, door opens, chat. It's the secret password. And he's like stumbling and waddling there, just fucking, I got your fucking flower. And who does he see, chat? Who does he see sitting at this chair right over here? Ken Watanabe. Ken Watanabe, chat. The great one, Ken Watanabe. And who walks out of the fucking shadows? Henri Ducard. And Henri Ducard says to Bruce, Bruce, I would like to introduce you to the leader of the League of Shadows, chat. And I was like, oh, here we go. Here's the big fucking reveal, chat. Ra's al Ghul. And I went, that is not how you say his name. His name is Ra's al Ghul. I like this, chat. We're introduced to, and I didn't know anything about this movie when I first saw it. And when they said, I'd like to introduce you to Ra's al Ghul, I went, oh my God, it's fucking Ra's al Ghul. They said his name wrong, but it's Ra's al Ghul. And I thought that was so cool. I was like, what perfect casting of Ken Watanabe, chat. I was like, neat. And he starts talking to Henri Ducard in a foreign language. I don't understand him. I even put the subtitles on when I was watching the movie last night. I was like, nope, you just don't understand what he's saying. And Henri Ducard, he's like, listen, okay, so Ra's wants to ask you a question. Why do you want to do this? Why the hell do you want to do this? He's like, because I want to use the means to fight injustice. And then fucking Henri Ducard punches him in the face. And he's like, oh! He's like, wrong answer. Wrong answer. And he's like, what are you doing? And all these people just start coming out and just beating us like, oh, it's a trick. It was a trap. But he occasionally does that. And he's like, well, no, you want the means, but do you know what you need to put forward? What are you going to give us in order to give you what you need? And he's like, we'll teach you everything. We'll teach you all this mixed martial arts stuff. We'll teach you the ways of the ninja. We'll teach you the ways of Tiger. And he's using all these different moves, the mantis, all these different things, the howling monkey. And, he beats the shit out of Bruce. But you'll face much fear. You will face much fear. And Bruce is like, I'm not afraid. And then it gets it's like, this scene seems familiar. He's like, oh, you will be. You will be. And he punches him. And he punches him in the face. And he falls down. And he takes the little flower and everything. And he goes, what are you afraid of, Bruce Wayne? And we cut you. We're another flashback. And we see Bruce, he's traumatized in the well. Just fucking shit. God fucking damn it. It's not going good. Not going good. But then we see Thomas Wayne, chat, lowering himself down. By the way, the actor who plays Thomas Wayne, chat, I saw this man's dick. This man, his name is Linus Roach, chat. He played the villain in a film called Mandy, which you can find that review on my YouTube channel, Class in the Glass. He played the cult leader, Father San, chat, and he exposes himself to Nicolas Cage and also Mandy. In the movie, he's got a big old sauce between those legs, chat. Also, his head is later crushed by Nicolas Cage, who says, "I'm your god now, bitch," and he smushes him. And so I saw this man die twice in 2 different movies. Thomas Wayne, chat, who is thankfully clothed, chat. I do not see his dick. I see him. He's got like a little grappling hook, chat. It's like, grappling hook. But he lowers himself down there like a little pulley system. Grabs Bruce, is like, come here, Bruce, I got you. And they go up there, and Alfred's there, and Rachel is there. Rachel! And Bruce gives the arrowhead back to Rachel for keeping, because they don't want to give it back to the spirits of the Native Americans, chat, like they should have. He's like, now I pass the curse on to you, hoping that the bats, chat, will haunt her for the rest of her days, but it's too late. The bats have found their chosen victim, and that person is Bruce Wayne, chat. Witness! Witness me! Xviral Gaming, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing very, very well. Good to see you. What were you playing? What were you doing? Currently reviewing Batman Begins right now. It's been a fun time. We're back with baby Bruce. He just got taken out of the well. Papa's going to give him a bit of a pep talk, which is good. Appreciate that. Narjo, good to see you. Now, for those of you who came in here, I hope your Wednesday hump day evening is going good. What a weird transition. What do you mean that's a weird transition? That's not a weird transition. I'm telling you what happens in the movie. I'm layering it. I'm layering it with subtext. Oh, Destiny Chew chatting. Nice. Sounds like a quality time chat. Please, you check out Xviral Gaming's channel. Give him some support. Would appreciate it. But, Thomas Wayne, he's taking fucking little Bruce inside the house. He's like, he got a few nicks and cuts. He's helping him and everything. And, Thomas Wayne's a doctor, chat. He is a doctor. That's his passion. Yes, he's the owner of Wayne Enterprises, chat, but his true passion is medicine, helping the people of Gotham. And he's always telling Bruce, but Bruce, what happens when you fall? You pick yourself back up. You become a better person. You take your lessons and you learn them, man. Well, what we do when we fall, we pick ourselves right back up. Good fucking quote in the movie, chat. I really do support this. I like that. It's a good message. Bruce loves his dad, loves his mama, Martha. Remember when Martha Wayne wasn't a joke? Remember when every time we said the word Martha, it's like, we think of that awful, awful scene in Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman chat. It's like, oh, it's Martha Wayne, that's his mom. Now we say, Martha. That's what you think of now, which is fads. It's terrible. It's terrible. Devil's Hand, thank you for the big booty butt welcome. Hope you're doing very well. We're just at the scene when Bruce talked to his dad. And Dad is saying, like, listen, Bruce, you got to overcome your fear, okay? When you fall down, you got to pick yourself back up. And then we transition, and apparently, like, hey, you know what we should do? Let's go to the theater today. Let's go to the theater tonight, Bruce. He's like, okay, that sounds great, Dad. And so they're on this monorail chat. Apparently, the Wayne, they built the Wayne Enterprises, they built this free public transportation for the people of Gotham, this monorail system, this train system that goes all around the city. And the central hub, this is important, chat, is important. Okay, remember this? It connects Wayne Tower to pretty much, really, it's the unofficial center of the city, chat, and that's where all the water is. That's where the water pumping station is for some reason. Okay, remember these details. And he said, we're going to take this. And Bruce is like, why'd you build this train, Dad? He's like, my company built this because we wanted to give something back to the city. Free and easy transportation. Not everyone can buy a car. Not everyone can afford, these monthly car payments or to take the bus sometimes. I'm sure the taxi unions and the busing unions were quite pissed about this. They did not like this. This is what we need. Is what the people of Gotham need. We have all these things, Bruce, and this is a way to give back to the city. These people need help. The city's been going through an economic crisis for some time, and this is one of the things that I think a person should do is to give back. If you have the resources, you have the means, give back to people, those who are hurting. That's a great message. I love that they made, not really Martha. Martha's not really a character in the movie, chat. She's like, yeah, I agree. She's just there to agree. But I like that they have Thomas basically giving Bruce all these lessons will help inform him in his decision to become Batman. Instead of giving back to the city, he punches its face. That's what he does. But they go to a show. Not a great selection, by the way, on Thomas's part. Also, Bruce is always fucking having nightmares about bats. And he's always scared about shit. But they go to an opera. Why would you take an 8 or 10-year-old to the opera, chat? I don't fucking know, okay? It's like, okay, that's a little hoity-toity. But they take him to the actual theater, chat. No, we're not seeing Zorro. We're not seeing Excalibur. We're not seeing the Beware the Gray Ghost, nothing like that. No, we're going to go to a bat opera. They take him to an opera all about bats, which I'm like, that's not good. Maybe they try, like, oh, this is good for him. This will be good for him. They deal with his trauma. He starts fucking freaking. He's like, I want to go. I want to go right now. And the dad, Thomas is like, all right, we'll go. This show fucking sucks. And then they step out in the seediest fucking alley I have ever seen. No wonder it's called Crime Alley. I mean, there is just a layer of slime and grease and trash everywhere. It's like, I'm like, no, we're going out why are we going out the back way? Can we go out the front way? Is this the entrance to the theater? Bull fucking shit. Monarch Theater, clean up your shit, my God. And they're like, they start walking, and we see this one guy. We see this, like, oh, that's not good. When you see this homeless guy just start approaching, just shaking and shit, just talking to himself, and he goes, he pulls out a gun on Thomas and Martha and Bruce. And they're all talking. He said, "Give me your fucking money." And Thomas is like, "Okay, man, I'll get no problem. Here's my money. Just give me the fucking wallet, man. Give me the fucking wallet." And then he sees the pearls on Martha's neck. He's like, "Give me those fucking pearls, man. Give me those fucking pearls. Give it to me." And Thomas gets it. He's like, "No, don't hurt my wife, don't hurt my wife." And he fucking shoots him. And then Martha's like, "No, Thomas." And then he's going, bah! And he shoots her, and he grabs the pearls, and he looks at Bruce. Bruce is just like. And he just runs. He turns and just gets out of there, chat. And Bruce just looks down at his dad. His dad's just reaching out to him. He just takes his hand. He goes, "Bruce, don't be afraid." And he dies. And it's like, holy shit. Yeah, Joe Chill, which they actually name him Joe Chill in the movie. And Bruce is just sitting there, traumatized. He just had the bats. He got the bat play, chat. He didn't like that bat opera. Now his parents are dead. Chat. And then he's picked up. He's picked up by the police. Show. We're introduced to a very young officer, Jim Gordon, chat. Still wearing the blue uniform and everything, chat. He's a cop. He's a beat cop, and he's there. He's taking care of Bruce Wayne, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And Bruce is just fucking, "How do you think he's doing, Jim?" And he's like, "Hey, is that your father's coat?" And Bruce kind of like takes it. He's like, "Oh, it's okay. I like that they really provide a lot of context for in introducing Jim in this way. Gary Oldman is an excellent Jim Gordon. In this movie, he's just Officer Gordon, Lieutenant Gordon, doesn't become commissioner until A Dark Knight. But wow, they did great things. Because you got to remember, chat, Jim Gordon in the Burton and Schumacher films, he's not a character. He's just there to deliver exposition. That's what he is. No offense to Pat Hingle. That's what he was hired for. He could have been a great Jim Gordon. They don't do anything with him. Here, I like that they really focused on the relationship between Jim, his precinct, and also Batman. I thought that was really cool. Gary Oldman, absolutely dark. So he is the best. He does a great job across all the films, really, but especially here and in Dark Knight. And I thought it was great way to humanize him when he actually takes, it's like when you're cold. He takes Thomas Wayne's coat and puts it around Bruce. He says, "There you go, and just hold that tight. I'm gonna get you something hot to drink." And then Commissioner Loeb comes in. He was often portrayed as very corrupt in the comics. He was Jim's boss before eventually Jim became commissioner. But Loeb comes in. Loeb is not very subtle. He's like, "Hey kid, we got him. You'll be so happy we got him." He's like, "Now's not the time." He's like, he's still processing that his parents are fucking dead. And then. So they caught Joe Chill. And we cut to the funeral, chat. And oh, by the way, Michael Caine fucking kills it in this movie, especially the first one and in Dark Knight. Wow, he does a great. He's of all the cinematic Alfreds that we've gotten so far. I mean, Michael Gough did a great job. He did some fucked up things, but man, Michael Caine kills it. He kills in this movie, and he's like really Bruce's family at this point. When they go to the funeral and everything, they go back home, and Mrs. Dawes gives her condolences, and Rachel gives her condolences to Alfred and Bruce. And eventually, we just see Bruce as the funeral's over. We see Bruce out, in his room just staring out his window. And Alfred comes in. He's like, Jesus. Do you want anything to eat? Or you want anything to drink? And Bruce just keeps looking out the window. Alfred's like, you just let me know. Okay, I'm gonna be right downstairs. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. And he goes, and Bruce turns to him. And he says, "Alfred," and he's crying. I love this scene. This is so good. The kid actor who plays little Bruce Wayne does a great job. He goes, "Alfred, it's my fault." And Alfred's like, "No, it's not. No, it's not." And he goes to him. I love this. He goes to him, and he hugs him. I'm like, "Oh, you're killing it." And when I saw this in the movie theater, I'm like, "You are fucking killing it right now." He says, "No, it's not." And Bruce is like, "I could have stopped it." Because, "No, you couldn't have done it. You couldn't have done anything, all right? What happened was a horrible thing, but it's not your fault, okay?" And Bruce is just saying, "I'm going to make sure stuff like this does not happen again." And Alfred's like, I know that's what you think right now. You're going through a route. I know, like, I want to help you. I want to be here for you." And Alfred becomes his adopted father, basically. Really, really does. Later on, we transition, chat, and it's many years later. Oh no, this what I think. Is this what happens afterwards? Yes, this is what happens. So then after the scene, the transitions. We're back with Ra's al Ghul and Bruce, and Ra's is introducing. Because that's how it happens. Like, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again. And then we transition to older Bruce Wayne. And Ra's says, okay, you're going to want to be part of the League of Shadows. We're going to teach you everything, okay? All the ways that you can defend yourself and fight injustice, right? So we're going to teach you all these different martial. They have this great scene of him like on top of these pillars and stuff, fighting these guys, blocking all this like these bamboo stalks and things, and teaching him the ways of the ninja, like all these different powders and gunpowder, and to mask you, teach you how to be stealthy, use the darkness to your advantage, so you can incapacitate an army of 100. You know, we're going to teach you how to take on. You're going to be an army of 1 against an army of 1,000. That's what we teach you here. Briefly shows, because we see all these guys like in cages, like hanging around, and Bruce is like, who are these guys? And they're like, oh, these are criminals, and these are people who hurt other individuals and led bad lifestyles, and and Bruce is asking what's gonna happen to them. He's like, they will face justice, and he's like, okay. And then we get this great scene. I love it. It's the cinematography here when they're on the ice and they're having a sword battle. We see like the beginnings of where Bruce adopted some of the League of Shadows equipment and things. Like we had these gauntlets with the spikes on them, and how you like block the sword and things like that. You can slash someone's face with them. It's really cool. But all the choreography with the samurai sword battle was very, very good. You know, he's not Ra's, he's Henri Ducard. I keep calling him Ra's, but Henri Ducard, you know who he is, Liam Neeson. But Henri Ducard, he's clearly the better sword master. And he's trying to get Bruce to be more aggressive. And it's like, the death of your parents was not your fault. It was your father's. And Bruce is like, ooh! And Bruce just goes right up at him. He's always slipping and sliding on the ice. He's, they're just stabbing each other. Eventually, he disarms Ra's. He disarms Ra's, knocks him down on the ice. And he's like, yield. And Ra's is like, you need to mind your surroundings. You've sacrificed your footing. And he taps the ice under Bruce's foot, and he goes right into the water. Such a great scene. Yeah, he sacrificed his footing, exactly. Eventually we cut, and Bruce is just fucking shivering. They're out in the wilds there, Chad, and Ra's is like, rub your chest, your arms will do your work, which is bullshit. It does not help, but he does that. And Ra's is like telling Henri Ducard, I keep calling him, it's Ra's al Ghul. I need to call him Henri Ducard. But Henri Ducard is basically saying, I know why you're doing this, what you want to do. I want to help you do this. I went through something similar. You know, I had a wife, and this is the Dark Knight Rises connection here. I had a wife, I had a daughter. I loved them, and I lost them both. They were taken from me by criminals, which is like technically not true. So they did some retroactive stuff later on. Like, he was not married to that woman, as far as I know. I don't know what happened to Talia al Ghul. How they handled all that shit in Dark Knight Rises was sloppy. Very sloppy. Could have been interesting, shit. Could have been some good stuff, but I do like that there's like, oh shit, is he talking about, in context, when you think about it, is he talking about Talia? Yeah, he is, inevitably, but how they handled that was not good, in my opinion. But he's talking about this, and so I understand what's motivating you through this entire thing. And he's then he wants to like know more, like what your life, because Bruce has been gone. I think we find out, like, how long have you been gone from Gotham? We get another flashback where they do this thing for, like, actors, and we get Christian Bale as a young college-age Bruce Wayne, and where anytime you want the actor to look younger, they just make the hair grow a little bit longer and make sure, like, it's almost, like, right at the eyes. That's just how it is all the time in these movies. And so he's coming back home from college, and Manor is pretty much, it's like Alfred's just been living there. And, Bruce, he's come back here for not only because he graduated college, of course, but because he's there for the trial of Joe Chill. Apparently, Chad, he served 10 years, and they're going to see if he gets off or not. That's what they're going to plan to do. And he wants to come there for the trial. Apparently, Rachel Dawes, she's a law student. She's, interning for the most recent DA. DA Fishface, Chad. Is not DA Harvey Dent. DA Fishface, because he is just a mopey bastard. And he just looks like a fish out of water. The entire time is going, oh, the whole time. I feel sorry for Fishface. Oh, he got no spine either. But he wants to go there. He wants to meet Rachel. Wants to see Rachel again and everything. And we said, and Alfred's like, well, Master Wayne, Rachel is in the kitchen. And he's like, oh, great. And so he goes to the kitchen chat. We see Katie Holmes. You see, this is the first time we see Katie Holmes as Rachel. Which, by the way, a lot of people give Katie Holmes shit for this role. I thought she did fine. I think she did good. I think she had chemistry with Christian Bale. So I don't know. I think the big reason why people were hating on her performance in this movie is because this is all during the shenanigans with Tom Cruise and the Oprah couch thing and everything, and her marriage to him. I think people had that get into this whole film. That's shitty. She did a good job. Swear to me. She does a good job. I mean, she's very much the damsel in distress. She's very much the, it's kind of a thankless role in all honesty, but she's not bad in the movie. People are saying, oh, she's awful. It's like, no, she's not. She's not bad. And they're talking, they're going back and forth and everything. They're having a grand old time. And he's like, I love you, Rachel. They're tiptoeing around. Clearly, they have feelings for each other. But then they go to the court case, the hearing of Joe Chill. And apparently, this is a big deal because apparently Joe Chill, he's this is what's happening, chat. Joe Chill, he's actually testifying. The reason why he's going to get out of prison early is because he was a cellmate with crime boss Carmine Falcone, chat. And apparently, he learned a lot of details about Carmine Falcone's criminal empire, and he's testifying to get a reduced sentence and go into witness protection. Bruce is like, this fucking bullshit. And so they go to the hearing and shit, and Joe Chill's is like, I regret my actions. There's not a day that goes by that I don't want to kill those rich folks. It was terrible. I don't want to do it. And the judge asks, is there anyone from the Wayne family who would like to speak? Which I didn't know you could do that. Who likes to speak at the moment. Joe Chill's like, oh, shit. And Bruce stands up because he's hearing this, and he fucking walks away. And basically, Joe Chill, he's going to get time off. He's going to go witness protection. And that's how it's going to be. Basically, he's getting off scot-free for the murder of the Waynes. And Bruce is like, fuck that. And he has brought a pistol, he's brought a revolver to the hearing, and he's going to assassinate Joe Chill, just throw his life away to kill him. And so when the hearing ends, chat, and the verdict's read, and Joe's going to go in witness protection. They're leading him out. They have all these reporters and shit coming to ask him questions. You have this one female reporter who says, Joe Chill. Carmine says hi and shoots him in his fucking face. And he goes down, Chad. He goes down. And Bruce sees it. He's walking up, wanting to shoot Joe Chill. And then Rachel comes up. Bruce, you don't want to see this. You don't want to see this. He's like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you, for the 5 minutes. Be done when issue would have been prepared ahead of time. Yeah, that's what it's weird. It's weird. Again, movie logic. I let it go. It's fine. Whatever. But after that, Rachel and Bruce are in the car and they're talking, and she says, I can't believe that happened, but when we have a system of laws. And Bruce is like, your fucking system is broken. Your system is awful. Like, the people get off scot-free all the time. And she gets mad. She gets very mad, and she goes down to the poor section of Gotham, just saying that, listen, we could have gotten information from Joe Chill that could have put Carmine Falcone and a number of his associates behind bars forever. It's like, this is the result of his criminal empire. These poor downtrodden people, the crime, drugs. This is what it's done to Gotham. Okay, and you're ignoring this. Okay, there's it's more complicated than just this vengeance that you want. Okay. All right, what happened was bad. He shouldn't have been shot like that. Thank you, Narja, for the 100 biddies. Thank you. Like she says, like, I know you're better than that, Bruce. I know you're better than that. And he goes, no, you don't. And he shows, this is a great scene. He shows the gun when he was about to do was kill him, and she looks at him. And she goes, bah, and she slaps him. She had open palm slaps him, and then she does it again, which I thought was funny. It's just not one. It's just like, bah. Bah. She waited a beat to get him again. I love that. Thank you again, Narja, for the 100 biddies. Appreciate that. Yay, Mr. Evan, yay. And then she says, okay, if you want to fucking talk that way, you want to do that, there's Carmine Falcone. He's always in this bar all the time. Go ahead and thank him. Get the fuck out of my car. And he gets out of the car, chat. And he goes, before he does that, he goes to the Gotham Pier, and I love this shot, is so good. But he has the gun in his hand. His hand is shaking with the gun in there, and he looks out in the bay, and he throws it. He throws because he's so disgusted in himself, chat. She gives him that Morgan Freeman slap, that pimp slap twice. Eventually, then he goes to the bar, the restaurant, which, by the way, is in the worst part of Gotham, but it looks great inside. He goes in there. All these guys like, hey, don't approach Carmine Falcone. And then Carmine's like, you don't have a gun? I'm insulted. And they sit him down there. And they got Tom Wilkinson, chat, who is not Italian. He's very British, to play Carmine Falcone. He does a great job, by the way. As, Carmine Falcone's appeared in many iterations of Batman comics. He was in Batman Year One. This is kind of like an adaptation of Batman Year One to a degree. A loose adaptation. But Tom Wilkinson knocks out of the park with Carmine Falcone. And he's like, I imagine you're here to thank me for what happened today. He's like, I'm not here to thank you. I'm just here to tell you that what you did was wrong. What you're doing in this city is wrong. And, you know, Carmine Falcone is like, oh, you're insulting me right now. You think that you're better than me, and this is what it's all about. He's like, yeah, I am fucking better. He's like, no, you're fucking not. And he pulls out a goddamn gun. He pulls out a goddamn gun, and Bruce is like, look at you. Look at you. You think what you have is important? No, what I have is important. The thing that you need to corral people is fear. Okay, it's not money, it's not power, it's fear, all right? And people like you don't understand it. You can't understand fear, all right? When you don't understand, you're afraid of. And that's why I have this power. That's the way it is, all right? And then Bruce, he's all fucking pissed off and shit. And like, all right, get him out of here. Get him out of here. And Bruce, they start like roughs him up. And Bruce punches the one guy. The other guy punches him. And Bruce is like, he's like, hey, I'll give you this, kid. You got fucking moxie. You know, more than your old man did anyway. And Bruce is like, ooh. He's like, yeah, Joe Chill, when we served together in the clinker, yeah, he told me about your father that he begged. He begged for his life. Like a dog. And Bruce is like, fuck you. And eventually he's like, all right, get him out of here. And they throw him out of the thing. Also, we see all the other people in the bar, too. He's like, look at all the people I have. I got cops. I got lawyers. I got a judge. This judge looks just like Donald Trump. He's like, I'm the best judge. I'm the best judge in the world. Carmine loves me. Everyone knows it. Everyone loves me in Gotham. The best judge. He was also the judge that was doing the Joe Chill hearing, too. Eventually, they throw him out of there. We get a great scene with this hobo. It's like, should have tipped better. And then Bruce goes over to him. He's like, oh, he's going to beat the shit out of the hobo. He's going to start punching hobos. That's how it starts. He's like, oh, shit. And he's like, the guy even, guy's like, here. Yeah, he's like, he throws his wallet in there and he gives him the money. He goes, what do you want? He's like, take it, it's yours. And he goes, okay. Takes the money. And he's like, your coat. I want your coat. Here, I'll give you mine. And the guy goes, okay. And he, Bruce wears this just smelly, raggedy hobo coat. And then the hobo wears this coat. He goes, this is a nice coat. This is a nice coat. Like he's joining his coat chat. And Bruce, that's when he goes on the lamb chat. That's when he leaves everything behind. And he goes all across the world for 6 years, chat, indulging in a criminal lifestyle, understanding why crime is committed. Sometimes out of desperation, sometimes out of greed. But it's complicated. It's not cut and dry, just like what Rachel said. And eventually, he goes to those, he tells Rachel all this. He's like, okay, now you're fucking ready. Now you're fucking ready to join the League of Shadows, okay? That's what we're going to do. But there's one final test. And they dress up Bruce in all this ninja gear along with Liam Neeson and all these other people. And he says, you must learn to conquer your fears. And he exposes him. He's like, I'm going to grind up this little blue flower that you got. I'm going to grind it up and I'm going to let it on fire and breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. It'll show you your fears. This is a great connection from this thing later on, something else in the movie. It's like really cool. But he breathes it all and breathes deeply. And then, when he opens his eyes, everyone has become Vin Diesel from Pitch Black, chat. Everyone's Vin Diesel from Pitch Black because their eyes become all, like, blue and glowy and shit. It's like, oh, that looks just like Riddick from the Riddick franchise. It's exactly that. The theme is fear, people. It's very much so. They go to 5 minutes. Hugo Strange would have been great. I was shocked that no one never used Hugo Strange. He seemed like an obvious choice. Disappointing. I would like to see Hugo Strange in the future. But at this point, since everyone looks like Vin Diesel now, it's like, your family, want to join your family, Bruce? He's like, yeah. But then it's like, now you gotta like beat me. You gotta like stop me from like stabbing you and shit. And it's this really cool scene where everyone like lines up in these ninjas, like this big group, and Bruce has to like defeat Henri Ducard, and he goes in there and like it keeps moving at like intervals and stuff, exposing him, and then Henri Ducard goes in there and starts like swiping at Bruce and stuff, and Bruce is dodging and everything, trying to get out of the way. Eventually, the group of ninjas part and they lead towards this box right at the end of the room, and Bruce goes over to it. He opens it up, and fucking bats come out. How did they know about the bats? The bats come out. He's like, oh, he's all scared and shit. And then Henri Ducard comes up and goes, fa, and he scratches him on his arm. He goes right on his arm and exposes it. But Bruce is like, he'll be able to spot me now among all these ninjas. So what Bruce does, he bamboozles him. He bamboozles Henri Ducard, and he starts slashing the arms of all these other ninjas to make it look like him. And eventually, when Henri Ducard's like moving around, he grabs Bruce and has his throat right here. He thinks it's Bruce. He's like, you mustn't leave any sign. And then Bruce comes up and puts the blade against the back of his neck, and he's like, I didn't. And he goes, oh, you got me. You did it, Bruce. You did it. And then fucking Ken Watanabe, Rachel Ghoul's like, impressive. At this point, Ken Watanabe, Rachel Ghoul is talking to Henri Ducard, Liam Neeson, and Bruce, and he's basically saying, okay, so this is the plan. This is the plan. We're going to send you to Gotham to fight injustice. You're going to be able to use all your resources. So what we got to do, Gotham has been very corrupt over time. Bruce is like, but there are some good people there. And he's like, yeah, I know, good people and all that shit. But we got to go over there. We must cleanse it. We must make it. Must strike at criminality. Stab it in the heart. All right, and Gotham will be born anew for the people. And they're like, cool. He's like, how do I begin? He's like, just one final test. We lied. There is a little bit of an epilogue test there. And they give him a samurai sword, and they bring out the chubby Chinese guy from earlier. Go, you got to kill him. And Bruce is like, listen, man, I got one rule, okay? And it's not killing anybody. Like, I will do all this stuff. I'll go back to Gotham. I will rid it of crime, but I will not kill this chubby man. All right, and fucking, Henri Ducard's like, listen, this is what we must do. This is what we're going to be doing. We kill people here. We're a League of the Assassins. All right, that's what we do. All right, you got to kill him. You got to kill him, or you can't be one of us, and we can't let you leave. All right, so you got to do this. And they give Bruce the sword, do what must be done. And Bruce is like, fuck it. And he flips this stuff. He flips this powder shed, and they're like, oh no. And the powders get light on the fire, and ba-boom, ba-boom, explosions. And it's funny, though, because Bruce says, I'm not going to kill anybody, but then he kills a whole bunch of people here. He's chubby. It's an awesome scene. It's an awesome scene, but Jesus Christ, the body count here is significantly high. And everyone starts exploding over places. He basically lights up. It's like, you have exposed flame next to all this gunpowder. This is bound to happen sometime. And Henri Ducard's like, fucking, what are you doing? He's like, I'm sorry, my old friends, what I must do. And he fucking punches him in the face and knocks him out. And then him and Ken Watanabe engage in a samurai sword battle. And the choreography here is actually quite good. It's quite good here. Everyone's fucking running around because everything's fucking exploding. Everything's made of wood. Not great. Not a great building material in hindsight when you have gunpowder, open flame, and wood. That's going to go up like a fucking bonfire, and it proceeds to do so. Eventually, Bruce, he almost gets the upper hand on good old Ra's al Ghul, Ken Watanabe, but then some cardboard falls down, and he goes, and crushes Rachel. I'm sorry, but this one scene, I'm like, that's bullshit. There's no way that little bit of wood just exploded his fucking head. So he's just dead. A little bit of cardboard, a little bit of wood fell on him, chat, dead. And I thought, like, oh my God, but I thought, I was like, oh, I see what they're doing here. So Ra's al Ghul died, right? But they're going to resurrect him. It's going to be a third act reveal. Woo! But they bamboozled me again. And so at this point, everyone's fucking dying shit. And he grabs Henri Ducard, chat, Liam Neeson. He's fucking running out, and he goes through a fucking window. It's like, oh shit! It's like, boom, explosions. The whole facility's going up, and eventually he's like, but they're on a mountain pass. They're on a mountain, and so they start sliding on the snow. And Liam Neeson's like, oh, just sliding down because he's all knocked down. Bruce is like, oh, no, my daddy. And he grabs Jet. This is such a great scene. He grabs him, and he uses his gauntlets, his ninja gauntlet to go, goo, and nearly, like, honestly, the speed he was going at and the amount of, like, Liam Neeson's, like, 6'3", at least 200 pounds, and so probably more so because he put on weight and muscle for the role in this movie. He lifts up Liam Neeson with one fucking arm, chat, while holding on with the other one. But he gets him up there, He gets him up there, and he takes him to this little clinic. And says, let him, just make sure he's okay. He's like, I will tell him that you saved him. And he's like, thanks. I'm sure this won't come back to bite me in the ass later on in the movie. And at this point, he's like, I gotta go home, okay? I've ostracized myself in the League of Shadows. And like, did you not think there was gonna be repercussions for what you did? It's like, you knew they were gonna come back for you, obviously. Whatever. And he's like, I killed them all, so it's over. And so then he's like, I'm going to go back home. He calls Alfred on the good old telephone chat, and Alfred comes down with his private jet. He's like, Jesus Christ, Bruce, it's been too long. Hi, Alfred. He's like, all right, get your ass in the plane. And Bruce finds out what Alfred's been doing. Alfred's been doing very well for himself. He's been living at Wayne Manor, living up with that lifestyle and driving the Rolls Royce all over the place. And apparently he declared Bruce dead like years ago. And he's like, "You declared me dead?" He's like, "No, you left no trace. What else I was supposed to do?" So yeah, we did. Oh no, I think the company, Alfred didn't do it. Wayne Enterprises declared Bruce dead. Rutger Hauer declared him dead. You'll be introducing him in just a second. But you've been declared dead. And he's like, shit, okay. Well, that's not great, but what else do we know? Well, apparently the company's going to go public. They're going to be selling it off to all these different businesses and things. But we do have a number of shares, quite a number of shares in your name. And it's worth quite a bit of money, billions and billions of dollars. So Bruce is good. He's set for life because of this. But he's like, I gotta go back there, and I gotta, reintroduce myself to Gotham itself. And so they take him back to the Wayne Manor and things. And Bruce, he's asking about Rachel. And apparently Rachel, she's now assistant DA to Fishface Man. Fishface Man is now the DA. He's got no backbone. Criminality in Gotham City is even worse, Chad. It's horrible. It's horrible. And eventually Bruce is like, well, I'm interested in getting in contact with Rachel. So I'm not going to talk to her and stuff. I'm going to make it awkward. So I'm going to spy on her dressed as a hobo. Thank you, Doug, for the 5 biddies. I was living the life, no longer having to be a man. Pretty much, he was doing very well for himself. I'm sure he's like, well, in this will, I got everything. I'm the next of kin, technically. Thank you. Oh, my Lord. Big Ace 559. You're my new follower. You're my welcome. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing very well on this fine hump day evening, this fine Wednesday evening. So at this point, Bruce is it's very creepy. We see a trial going on for Victor Zsasz, chat. Apparently he's going to be committed to Arkham Asylum, which I agree. There's a little small appearance by Victor Zsasz in the movie. He's not a major role or anything. He appears here and he appears on later in the film as one of the escaped Arkham inmates. So it's like, oh, cool, it's Victor Zsasz. You see the nicks on his body, chat. So for every time he kills someone, he makes a little nick. Like a little trophy to remember them by. He's got like dozens and dozens of these, so he's killed a lot of people over time. Narjo, thank you so much for giving a sub to Mary Jawanu. Thank you for your generosity, Narjo. You've been so generous to stream. And so Rachel's arguing against having Victor Zsasz committed. Actually, there's a lot of villains in here. Victor Zsasz committed to Arkham. And the person who's saying, like, well, I advise he's clearly a sick man, is Dr. Jonathan Caine, played by Cillian Murphy. Fun fact, he originally tried out for the role of Bruce Wayne Batman for this film, chat, but he didn't get it. But Christopher Nolan loved him so much. He said, how about you play the Scarecrow instead? And he goes, okay. And Scarecrow is the villain that has consistently appeared across all 3 Batman films. Yet he appears here. He's in the opening in Dark Knight. And he plays the judge, the Scarecrow judge, in Dark Knight Rises during Bane's, weird escape from New York, coup. That's what he does. Arkham City is my favorite too. Right. In terms of the Batman games, definitely, no question about it. But he's great. He's got that icy. I could see him in a Batman cowl and cape with those icy blue eyes. Yeah, no, they stick out. He has very particular features that serve him well. And so he says, oh, yeah, Victor Zsasz, he should go to Arkham Asylum because he's crazy. Everyone says, yes, to Arkham Asylum he shall go. And Rachel Dawes like, fuck you, Dr. Jonathan Caine. He's like, oh, well, you mad? Come on, listen. You want to take it up, take it up with me. We can take it up with the judge or anything else, but this is just the way it is, okay? Don't stop pushing certain buttons. Stop pushing certain buttons, okay? You might get your hand cut off. And he fucking walks away. And then DA Fishface comes. He's like, oh, Rachel, you don't want to mess with him. Because he can't breathe, he's a fish. He can't breathe. And he's like, why? Because he's connected to Carmine Falcone, all these criminal elements, okay? Which is like, don't press on him. Well, because what happens if you do that? You wind up fucking dead in this town, Rachel. I just care about you. I care about you. He goes, oh, gives him a little platonic smooch on the face shit, which you shouldn't get any smooch. And Bruce says, she's like, no. Bruce, who was dressed up as a hobo at a payphone, is like, no. He's so sad, Rachel. And he walks away. And he goes back home, Chad. He goes back home, and he's still trying to, assess the situation here in Gotham City. And eventually, he has all these papers up. He's like, the Wayne Manor's coming alive again. And he sees, Chad, he's looking up research both on Rachel Dawes, also Jim Gordon, Chad. Jim Gordon. We get a scene with Jim Gordon. Apparently, he's Detective Gordon now. He's no longer just an officer, and things aren't going well for him either because Jesus Christ, he's partnered with this big fat fuck named Flash, Chad, who's just a piece of shit. He's in Carmine Falcone's pocket. He's partners with Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon ain't no rat though. He ain't gonna inform any of his officers, but he just lets it go by and he tries to keep his family safe and does what he can. But it's rough. It's rough for him out there. Eventually, we cut back to, good old Bruce. He's doing all this research and things, and he sees like a bat flapping its goddamn wings all over the place. Like, what the hell is that? There's a goddamn bat. And then Alfred's like, oh, my apologies, sir. The bats sometimes come in because of the subterranean caves we have down there. And Bruce's like, oh, that's interesting. And he's like, I'm going to go down these caves. And it's like, are they connected to the well outside? He's like, sure is. And this one, Batman's like, I got to confront my fears. Or Bruce has to confront my fears. I need a symbol. And so he goes down in there, Chet. He goes down in there, and he goes down the well. He goes in that cave where the bats came from, and it's this huge cave, Chet. And by the way, it would smell like shit. It would be disgusting, Chet. When I used to work for a university, we had this parking garage. And we have a lot of bats in Texas, and the bats would always make their homes there, and they would shit everywhere, and the smell was overwhelming. So you can imagine how stinky the bat cave is. It's like oofa, big time oofa. But it's a beautiful scene though here. He's walking around, all the bats start freaking. He gets the light, and he shines the light up, and the bats go, wah, wah, and all the he's like, he gets scared of the bats, but then he's like breathing the bat stinky, and she's like, yes, I'm becoming the Batman, becoming my chosen symbol. And he breathes in as they're all flapping around. So he must just fucking reek when he walked. Alfred's like, take a fucking bath, Master Wayne. I implore you. And all these bats start flying around. It's cool. It's a cool scene. The CGI here was great. Eventually, after he took his bath, he's like, okay, time to let people know that I am not dead. And so then he goes to Wayne Enterprises, chat, which is currently being run by Rutger Hauer, chat. He plays the android in Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner. Also plays the Blind Master in Blind Fury, chat. His two most notable roles outside of Batman Begins. But Bruce, he goes in there, and he talks to the receptionist, and, good old Jessica, chat, she's the receptionist for Rutger Hauer, and he's an asshole to her all the time, chat. She's trying her best, but he's just an asshole. And he's like, I'd like to meet with Rutger Hauer and the Wayne board right now. And she goes, she's just busy doing something. She's like, can I have your name, sir? And he goes, yes, Bruce Wayne. She looks up, she goes, whoa! And then eventually we cut to the board meeting. Rutger Hauer's like, we love money. We love money. We want to make more money. And we want to sell Wayne Enterprises the highest fucking bidder. We want to see what the stock prices are. Are we all agreed? Like, you go, yeah, we're all agreed. But some people are like, but, we got some questionable stuff about the company we should work on. He's like, fuck you. I'd fire you if I could. No. We want money. Jessica, bring the files to show how much money we've made. Jessica! He gets very mad, chat, because Jessica, the receptionist, is not answering him. He goes upside. He's like, what are you doing, bitch? And he sees, and this is when we get Bruce Wayne as Playboy. You see the certain elements of it, where he's showing her how to putt and golf, and he is just right up on her ass, chat. Just like, oh, I got you, girl. I got you. Jessica's like, oh, you got me. You definitely do, Mr. Wayne. And he's like practicing the golf, and then Bruce turns around, and Rutger Hauer's like, Bruce Wayne? And then they have like a little meeting. And he goes, Bruce, let me tell you, it's just such a pleasure to know that you're here. If your parents are here with us right now, they'd be so happy that you're alive. He's like, thanks, Rutger Hauer. He goes, listen, there has been some changes. As you know, Alfred Pennyworth, he took down a number of stocks, a number of assets under your name. And we are taking the company public. Okay, that's just how it's going to be. You're going to make money. Everyone's going to make money. Bruce is like, hey, no, I understand. Listen, I was abroad. I totally understand. I'm just happy that my family's company is in good hands. And Rutger Hauer says, of course it is, Bruce. And you come to me for anything, okay? You just let me know. Buddy. He's like, of course I will, Rutger Hauer. Thank you, Katie, for the 5 Bs. Hi, Chris. Christian Bale is the best. He's good in the movie. He's very good in the movie as both as Bruce Wayne and as Batman. Although his Batman voice is a little goofy, but we'll get into that in a bit. Good to see you, Katie. Hope you're doing very well on this fine hump day Wednesday evening. And, Bruce is like, hey, can I go down to the R&D department for some of our, projects that we don't, care about anymore? He goes, sure, no problem. And because Bruce has asked also, I would like to speak to the only black man that works for Wayne Enterprises. Like, the only black man that works for Wayne Enterprises? Oh, I know who you're talking about. Sure, he's down in R&D. And so he goes in the bowels, chat, of Wayne Enterprises, chat, who are introducing. Who is the only black man that works for Wayne Enterprises, chat? Morgan fucking Freeman, who is perfectly cast. I think this is the first time we ever seen the cinematic debut the cinematic debut of Lucius Fox, chat, who is not only runs pretty much Wayne Enterprises, like in the comics and things, but he is also the tech guru for Batman. Thought that was very, very cool. I thought that was very, very cool. And he goes down there. He's like, "Are you the only black man that works for my company?" Morgan Freeman's like, "Yup." He goes, "Cool. Hey, can you show me like all like certain things that we apparently?" I guess that he was doing the research for it. Like all these things. Okay, my company's done all sorts of stuff, military, medical, tech, super technology stuff. And he's like, "Can you? I want certain things that you might have for activities." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And you know, he's showing him around all this cool stuff. And he's like, "Oh, here's this, you know, this cool suit that we have. Apparently, it's like $300,000 of military hardware, but the military passed on it. It's like this black, like body armor, Kevlar body armor. It'll stop a knife and bullets ricochet, but like a full shot, like right in front of you, it won't do that. You gotta be very careful." And you know, Bruce is like, "Oh, it's cool." And he's like, Morgan Freeman's like, show him all this stuff, show him this technology, like these gloves, these little grenades, like smoke pellets and things. And he's like, "What do you need all the grappling hook, gas powered I love that we see how all of Batman gadgets work and how they were all kind of like in some realm of reality." Very, very cool. And Morgan Freeman's like, "Hey, if you don't mind me, Mr. Wayne, why do you need these things?" He's like, "Oh, spelunking." He's like, "Spelunking." "Yeah, cave diving. He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you can borrow it. And we're not using it anymore, but just make sure to put it back when when you're done." He's like, "Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Morgan Freeman." And then we cut back to the Batcave. And where Bruce, he's setting up shop in there. He's setting up shop because he has to become the Batman very soon, chat. And he's got like a shit ton, an army of dehumidifiers, chat, because there's water everywhere. There's bat shit everywhere. It's like, we got to get rid of the smell, and we have to make sure Alfred doesn't catch pneumonia when he's down here, chat. He's already coughing. We can't let Caine start coughing, chat. And we go, cool, a little historical fact. I love when we explore like the history of the Wayne family, and we learn apparently, chat, that because we see like all these like a brick foundation, these various tunnels, chat. And Alfred tells Bruce, "Oh yeah, the Wayne's family, they were involved in the Underground Railroad. They helped slaves escape from the South and brought them up to the North," which I thought was really cool. See, the Wayne's, chat, they're not cultural appropriators. They're helping escape slaves. Good on them, chat. They were always heroes. And Bruce is like, "Cool." And also, we see this elevator. Apparently, chat, this like Civil War 1860s era elevator goes all the way up to the manor, and it's hidden by a hidden bookcase, chat. And you can open it. It's so cool. You can open it by hitting like 2 piano keys, and then it opens up the secret door. And it's like, oh, cool. So they didn't like install it. It was already pre-installed because it helped with escaped slaves. So I thought it was really awesome. The Waynes, as we all know, chat, abolished slavery. They teamed up with Abraham Lincoln, who was busy fighting vampires, and the Waynes took it upon themselves, and they ended slavery, chat. That is history. That is history. Not your parents. Welcome to the stream. This is great. Completely forgot about the entire movie. Hope you're doing very well, chat. Please do check out Not Your Parents. Quality streamers, play a lot of the multiplayer shenanigans. Wonderful community. Give them a follow, give them support as much as possible, chat. Wonderful people. But at this point, Bruce is like, "Cool, okay, well now I got certain things. I got like a secret cool abolished slave tunnel. It's the abolishment of slave Batcave. It's great. Thank you. Oxtail 2077 follow. You're my new Huckleberry. Welcome to stream in the middle of my Batman Begins review. So I got this going on. I'm going to go ahead and put my suit together. And I'm going to start trying to make some allies at this point. I'm going to go and talk to my good buddy Jim Gordon. And we see like the proto-bat suit, chat, where he's taking the Kevlar body armor that he got from Lucius Fox. Has that. Got the League of Shadow gauntlets, chat. He's got like this little ski mask on. He's like, "Cool. I'm going to go ahead and talk to Jim." Jim's in his office, chat. He's got all the lights off. He's just fucking drinking. He's like, my life sucks. And then he has a gun pointed at the back of his head. He goes, "Oh!" And he goes, "Oh, shit, where do you want?" And like Bruce wants to know some information. He's like, all this stuff about Carmine Falcone. When's this? Apparently, there's like a big operation going down, chat, with Carmine Falcone, and he wants to know how to get at him. And apparently, Jim says, well, apparently there's going to be a big drug drop-off and exchange. We don't know where, though. And I don't know where. And he's like, "Well, tell me who would know." He's like, "Officer Flass would definitely know, where he is." And, Bruce is like, "All right, thanks for the information." He's like, "Well, are you going to kill me or something?" "No, I'm not going to kill you. I know you're a good cop. I know you're an honest cop, and I want to help you." He's like, "You want to help me?" He's like, "Yes. wait for my signal. And he gets out of there. He gets out of Dodge. He does the Batman thing. He's like, your signal? What are you talking to me? He turns around. He's gone. Except he doesn't have the whole Batman thing down yet. So, every time, like, Batman talks to Jim Gordon and he goes, boo, and he disappears and Jim's like, oh, he did again. He actually catches, I love this, he actually catches Batman in the act, or Bruce in the act, still trying to climb up the fire escape. And he's like, I still see you, which I thought was so fucking funny. And then he calls all the cops, going to take this guy down. And Bruce is just like, oh, fucking shit. It's like, I got to start jumping. And he does parkour. He starts parkouring channels. All the cops try to shoot at him. Boom, boom, boom. But he lands in the fire escape chamber. He fucks himself up. And he crushes all of his rib bones. They go inside of his lungs. He's like, ah! He's in horrific fucking pain. He's in horrific fucking pain, Chad. It's not going well. And so he goes back home. He's like, I gotta talk to Lucius Fox. Meanwhile, Chad, we cut to Dr. Jonathan Caine, who's talking to Carmine Falcone. And apparently Carmine Falcone, he's like, he's been doing all this stuff for this mysterious client that Dr. Jonathan Caine works for. And this is about the big drugs thing that they're getting all this drugs in, and they're being hidden like little stuffed animals and shit. And Carmine Falcone's like, hey, listen, I want to be cut in more on this operation, all right? I know about all your mysterious, employers, this Ra's al Ghul, and he's like, I know about this guy. And, listen, you don't know, and Dr. Jonathan Caine's like, you know nothing about my employer. Look, if you're going to keep trying to do this kind of thing, all right, bad things might happen. Carmine goes, yeah, bad things might happen to you, to your employer, to this Ra's al Ghul, whoever the hell this guy is, all right? Listen, no one can fucking get to me. You think you're trying to threaten me? I threaten you. Not in my fucking town, okay? Pay me my money. And Dr. Caine's like, I will take this under advisement, and I'll speak with my clients. Like, goddamn, you will. Goddamn right you will. Also, Flass, he's saying that at this point, Flass is telling, he goes and visits Carmine Falcone and says this fucking district attorney, this assistant DA, Rachel Dawes, she's sniffing around. She's always sniffing around about things. Might have to take care of her sometime in the near future. And Bruce is like listening at all this too, because he's like, he's scoping out Carmine Falcone's little haunts and things. He's like, oh shit, Rachel, not Rachel. So he's like, I gotta get moving. I gotta get better equipment to take down Carmine Falcone and all of his criminal assholes. And so he goes and talks to Morgan Freeman, and Bruce is all like, because he's internally bleeding all the time because he crushed his ribs. And he goes, hey, Morgan, do you have anything like for like skydiving, but like without a parachute? And Morgan Freeman's like, that's weird, but okay, yeah, we got something. And he shows this like micro material, like those nanomachines weaved in this like nylon material, apparently, chat. And when you put an electromagnetic current through it, it can form into all sorts of shapes. And Bruce is like, this is like really cool. Can I have this? Can I make it into like a cape and stuff? And Morgan Freeman's like, yeah, you can. And, Bruce is like, listen, if this is making you uncomfortable, Morgan Freeman, he's like, listen, Mr. Wayne, whatever you do, whenever you get your kicks, that's totally fine with me. As long as just return, as long as you're just enjoying yourself, as long as you're doing the right thing for Gotham. Who am I? Who am I to judge you? Hey, you want to see this fucking tank I got? And Bruce is like, boy, do I. And then we get the debut chat of a new take on the Batmobile, the Tumbler, which a lot of people don't like the Tumbler. I don't mind it. I think it's cool. This very fast moving tank. And they're in the fucking seat, and Bruce, he takes to a quick chase. He's going around, going like 80 miles per hour in this giant fucking facility. Morgan Freeman's like, he's so scared, Chad, about what's going on. And, Bruce is like, this is so cool. And he's like, yeah, I could do anything. We're going to use it in warfare and stuff. And they decide not to, decide to go with the good old Sherman tank. And Bruce turns to him and goes, does it come in black? It's like, hell yeah, it does. Now, I love it, Chad. Morgan Freeman, Lucius Fox, has no problem providing Bruce with this specialized experimental Kevlar body armor. He has no problem giving him all this grapple power gas gun. No problem giving him all these little weapons and gadgets. No problem giving him a fucking tank. But what he does have a problem with, Chad, is when Bruce uses a couple of cell phones to find out where the Joker is in the Dark Knight. I just love that. I gave you a tank, but the cell phones, you've gone too far. You've gone too far, Bruce. Batman, I'm done with you. And I was like, okay. It's just very weird. But anyway, Batman's like, but Bruce, he's not Batman yet. He's like, well, I got all this cool shit. I'm making it better, but I got to prepare myself for the things that are to come. And so I got to make a symbol. I have to make a symbol. And Alfred, thank you. Patrick the his designs, at least he saw them go to good psychotic use. No doubt about it, Bat Shields. No doubt. And so Bruce, he's like he's doing the Tom Maguire, like, I'm going to sketch myself a costume. And he sees the bat symbol. He's like filing. I love that we see Bruce filing down the metal into like the batarangs and stuff. And Alfred, he's like asking Bruce, is like, why bats, huh? And he's like, bats scare me. I want my enemies to feel my dread. Rah! And he throws it, and it gets stuck in, like, embedded in a wooden wall. It's really cool and badass. Also, it's really cool. So they buy like all these materials like in bulk, so to make it now look suspicious. So they buy the materials to construct the bat mask, the cape and cowl, but they can't buy like one or two. We have to buy in bulk to not make it look suspicious. So they have to buy like 10,000 units, and when they come in, they're all shitty. They're all made of graphite. It's like, oh, I guess we didn't read the fine print. He's like, all right, let's buy 10,000 more. At least we'll have spares, which I love. We finally see the bat costume come together, chat. We see how he puts a little radio communicator in his bat ear. It's like, oh, this all makes sense. I just loved how Nolan approached this and really showed you how he put together his costume, how some of it was based in reality, sometimes a little fantastical, but it was really cool to see him put it together. Kind of similar in a way to seeing like Iron Man create his Iron Man suit. You know, like I never need to see it again, but it's like to kind of see the process and like, oh wow, okay, it's interesting to see that for me at least. At this point, he's like, oh, fuck yeah, I got my bat suit ready. Cannot wait to go out there, right? Because the big drug swap's about to go down, Chad, at the Gotham docks. Apparently, Carmine Falcone, he's concerned about it because of this mysterious client, Ra's al Ghul and Dr. Jonathan Crane and shit. And he sent Flash down there. And it's a great scene because Flash, oh no, is Flash here? No. Is Flash, did the scene with Flash, no, it did not happen yet. So, that comes later. But, you know, Flash goes out there. These guys are, like, storing all the drugs and bears and little stuffed bears and animals. And Flash comes over. He's like, what is this? What is this? He's like, what you guys got? And they're like, oh. He's like, I'm fucking with you. All right, put that back in there. It's good. Goes and talks to Carmine Falcone. And he's like, yeah, don't worry. The drugs are being shipped. What's got you spooked? He's like, this goddamn League of Shadows, Dr. Jonathan Crane, mumbo jumbo. So to make sure this is all working. To make sure that the job gets done. He's like, don't worry, I'll make sure it's taken care of. And then, Chad, we cut. We see all these guys kind of patrolling the area and checking these canisters and things. Also, I think, no, not yet. It's not revealed here, but it will be. They're going in these, like, various containers, bringing out more drugs. And we see this one guy. Ooh, Doug's at the 5 base. Always like seeing heroes, constructor create new things for their arsenal. It's like leveling up in a video game and getting new. Exactly. It's a little rewarding treat, both for the viewer and for the hero themselves. Oh my God, Devil's Hand coming in there with the 5 gifted subs. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Wem 3052, Princess Cordy, C. Farrell, and Ari Kakil. Congratulations, round of 5 minutes long. I hope you guys enjoyed the review so far. I told you this would be a long one, Chad. I love this movie, so I knew this would be a long one to do. I hope you're digging it. How does Wayne Enterprise not notice their old tank design being used? I know, right? It's like, Oh, an anonymous gifted sub with another 5 subs. Whoa. Wow, Wheeler. Thank you. We'll take a brief moment. Should I take a brief break? Get back to review just to enjoy. Oh, I'm supposed to serenade you. Now you're serenading me. Thank you, guys. Cheers, salute to you. May the wings of liberty as a feather and shake the pillows of heaven as we speak. Thank you. This is so kind. Yes. This is the one that we had the big action set piece about to sit up, chat. Now, there's one element of this action scene I really like and one I don't. We'll get into, I talked about it earlier, but we'll get into the nitty-gritty details in a second. The way Bruce makes the suit and the gadgets is totally believable. I could make something like, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, it's grounded in reality. It's like, oh, I could see. It's practical. It'd be hard as fuck, but you can see it. The Rainmaker, welcome to stream. What's up, Chris? How you doing? I'm doing great, Rainmaker. Currently in the middle of my review for Batman Begins, kind of in the middle portion of the movie so far, because I've just been talking about it for so long. I go into, like I say, I do scene by scene breakdowns of these movie films. Intimate, specific, nitty-gritty detail. No, some just want to watch the world burn. Eventually, I'll do Dark Knight someday. That'd be fun. That'll be a good time. Good to see you, Togo. Oh, Lord. Oh, boy. Actually, it's perfect time. Thank you for all the gifted subs. I'm going to go get a tissue, chat. My nose is a little runny. I'll be right back. I'm getting so excited. Oh my God, just came in. The hype train is a star chat. The hype train has commenced. Togo with the 500 biddy donation. Thank you. And Togo with another 300 biddies. Togo, thank you for the 300 biddies. Wow. And 800 biddies. Let me go ahead and think. 800 biddies from Togo. Thank you. Hype train. We got a level 4 hype train chat. Let's get through. I thought I heard something. Let's go ahead and sit through this hype train chat. Choo choo. Then we'll get back to the review. Thank you. Cass, thank you with the 5 biddies. All right, sir. Like, post a schedule for what you're going to review at the beginning of the week. Sometimes I don't know until, like, the day of. Oh, wow. Well, thank you for the advice. I'll definitely do that. Have Justin put what you're reviewing a week on Twitter. Yeah, that'd be fun. Juicy begins. Indeed. You're seeing the origin story as we speak. No, thank you, Chad. Thank you for the amazing amount of support. Thank you, Togo. Thank you, Anonymous Gifted Subber, whoever you are. Kazfe. Devil's Hand, thank you. Well, we are Narjo with the 100 donation. You guys are so sweet to me. You treat me so well. You spoil me, Chad. You spoil me. Thank you. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. And I see Togo with another 200 biddies, and I see another 5 gifted subs coming from Devil's Hand. Thank you, Chad. Thank you. Wow, and I see Deadpool coming over another 40 beats. Get hype, we're hype. I think we've achieved. Oh, chat. Yeah, swear to me. I'll get to that scene in a bit. That's after this one. You want to do Togo? I'll definitely do Togo songs tonight, yes. I'll do some songs tonight, no question about it, chat. No question about it. Yeah, Davin, one negative about Nolan Batman being so good is that's too many tried to yes. Somebody tried to emulate it, and it was like, oh, I want to make a good superhero movie, you gotta be dark and gritty. It's like, no, it works for Batman because that's what Batman naturally is. And yeah, they applied that formula to so many other heroes that didn't need it. Very good observation. It's true. You're correct. Horrible one with the 50 beats. Thank you. Time this behind you. By the time you read this, I will have already pulled a stealth Batman exit. What? I got you, man. I got you. I'm just going. You're like Batman. You're right there. I was just Batman. Yeah, this is middle of the hype train. Not even done with the movie yet. I'm not even done with the movie review yet. But this is great. No, thank you guys. Nice break. Nice little break for me. Catch my breath. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's why I hated the Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, that's what they tried to do. They tried to emulate that dark and gritty tone. It's just like, that doesn't work for these characters. It's not who these characters are. I mean, it's fine for other characters who are dark and gritty, but not for Superman, Spider-Man. Exactly. There's Kai's face support. That's what Jess said. Coming into the subscription. Thank you, that's what Jess said. Appreciate you. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Rufflemeister, I'm doing well. Enjoying this wonderful hype train that you guys have created for me. I really do appreciate chat. It's very, very kind. This has been an excellent week for the streams. Remember, I'm low-key hype for the song tonight. Me too. Josh coming in there with the 4 gifted subs. Wow, chat. I'm overwhelmed. I think, we got to level 5. Level 5, 100% chat. Not over. Thank you. Oh, my God. And Togo coming in there with another 5 gifted subs. We're almost at 200%. Yay! Now we're just twerking. The eyes just twerking the chaos. And we're now up to 62 build. What we're gonna do is, Chris, here's to cut down those. We're gonna start also counting the second place option as well. So whenever came in second place will also be added. That's what we'll start doing. I think I'm going to retroactively just let's just do that from now on. Because of the sheer amount of crazy, amazing... The runner-up, exactly. Yeah, much better. Thank you, Chat. Seriously, thank you. Kaz, the 5 minute. Thank you, Choke, another 5 giving subs. Josh, 3 giving subs. Just let it overwhelm you, Chat. Thank you. Austin, I see you coming in the host. Thank you so much. Wow. Some people just want to see the world twerk. It's true. Who doesn't want that? That's like the good version of the Joker. No question. Batchill's coming in with the 15 biddies. Thank you, chat. Wow. Incredible. Seriously, guys, thank you. Cheers and salute to you, chat. May the wings of liberty, those of feather, your shake the those of heaven as we speak. This is an overwhelming hype train. Did not even expect it during the review. But thank you, thank you, thank you. is incredible right there. And Deadpool coming there with the 24 biddies. I see that, Deadpool. Thank you. Eventually, this all get cut up, chap. What's the point of all those push-ups? You can't lift up a bloody log. It's like, the fuck? Yeah, it's true. Oh, man. Twerk for freedom. Twerk for juice. Juiciest of juices. Yes. Thank you, chat. Wow. Yeah, I do hope you enjoyed the review so far. I'm digging the hell of it. Togo coming in there with another gifted sub, the Blue Regard. And Narjo, I see coming in there with another 100 biddies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Congratulations, guys. You got a lot of new Revenites here. A lot of very generous individuals tonight. Thank you. Here's a beer. Winter Soldier was the best superhero movie other than Nolan's Batman films, and it worked because they still had the light tone, the character mix. Yes, exactly. It was a political thriller, so that naturally makes it kind of dark and gritty, but you're right. It maintained a very good balance of tones. Yeah. So, hey, Chris, did you see the new Spider-Man 3 title today? It's called Spider-Man No Way Home. We talked about it earlier in the stream. It's good title. It's part of the Home Trilogy. Now we can call it the Home Trilogy. I dig it. And Togo, the 300 biddies of hype coming in there, chat. Wow. We're at 245% hype train success. Incredible. Incredible. Seriously, chat. Level 5, 22 subs, 1,649 bits. Thank you. Thank you, chat. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to do some polls after this review. I can tell you that much. I get in the Sonic shenanigans. Heart, hands, everyone. For the people, hype train. For the people, I'll give it back to you. Yes, indeed. Win Fox coming in there with the 71 biddies. And Deadpool with another 5 biddy. Juice is on the loose. I'm always loose, always loosey-goosey. Helen Berger, are you doing a movie review extravaganza Epic Crust Power Hour tomorrow? Is there not a show today? I was not told. Thank you. Oh, no show today. Oh, shit. I guess no shows can't. Oh, I guess that's what's happening. See, guys, you found out before I did. Let me see. I'll text Corey during all this hype train. I'm gonna actually text Corey, ask him a few questions. See what we do here. All right. Let me go ahead. See what we got. Show me what you got. Show me. Oh, embargoes. Currently, I'm waiting for the new Tom and Jerry movie. And they have embargoes. Yeah, we talked about that too, Benny, in the beginning. Yeah, Chad, in the beginning of the stream, we talked about the Avatar The Last Airbender news with that new studio. Creating more of that animated content, hopefully. Spider-Man, and also briefly about BioWare's Anthem, how that game is dead and buried. I mean, it already was. It was dead and didn't even know it. Yeah, thank you, chat, for all the incredible support tonight. Really do appreciate it. Welcome for those of you who are tuning in right now. Just catch you up. I'm doing a review, scene by scene breakdown, chat, for Batman Begins. Love this movie. Love talking about it. Currently in the middle of it. I'll be playing some Sonic 06 later, and then we'll be jumping into some multiplayer shenanigans in Apex Legends and Jackbox. In the Jackbox. But again, thank you so much, Chet. Thank you so much for all of the overwhelming support. Windfox, Deadpool, Togo, Narjo, Bat Shields, Osnick, the Hardball one, Devil's Hand, Kazfei, Rufflemeister, anonymous gifting people, whoever you are, thank you for all the support. In case I missed you, thank you. I really do appreciate that. That is so kind. But now, chat, we got to get back to the shenanigans, chat. So we're at the docks. We're at the docks, right? And you have these people, they're putting all the drugs inside the teddy bears' tummies, chat. And you know who doesn't like it when you put drugs in teddy bear tummies? Batman. And he sees all this shit. I'm going to beat the shit out of these guys. And I love this. I have critiques about this action sequence. I love it, and I also am dissatisfied with it at the same time. We're going to go into the details. But we see this one fucking schmuck who needs to get more drugs to put into the tummies of teddy bears, and he goes to this one crate shed that's open and it's a shadow inside, and he's just sucked right in. He goes, ah! And he's just sucked right in. And they're like, Billy, are you okay? Billy's not okay. He's getting punched in the face. But I love what they do beating up small business owners. Yeah, what he does, he beats up the poorest, small business owners, and criminals. But I love all the Predator-esque stuff, like the Predator. You know how you have the Predator mode in the Batman Arkham games, chat, where you swing around the gargoyles, you take people down stealthily. Nolan handles that very well in this scene and many other scenes throughout this movie. But it's the hand-to-hand combat sequences that aren't great. And as I said before, the excuse is, well, I wanted to create it where it's overwhelming. You don't even understand your mind's not even comprehending what you're seeing when you get in a fight with Batman because he beats the shit out of you so fast. The thing is, I get that, but as an audience member, I want to see that, though. I want to see him take all these guys out. And he has the camera up close here, and he does a lot of quick editing, and it's very it's unsatisfying. But there are some other fight scenes later in the film that are quite good. The choreography is good, the hand-to-hand stuff. But here it's just like, ugh. So it's kind of mixed. It's kind of mixed. But you see all these guys. This one guy gets taken out, and everyone is like, is that Billy? Where'd Billy go? And, like, you know, Flash goes out because they're hearing all these guys shouting for this guy. He's like, I'm going to go check on him. I'll be right back. And he starts walking. And then one by fucking one, Batman just starts taking all these guys out, chat, throwing the batarangs and the lights to make it dark, you know, because he adopted the shadow. He adopted the darkness, chat. Bane, he was born and molded by it. But Batman, he is adapted to it, chat. He's taking all these guys. Takes one guy. The guy goes, oh! And you just see, like, little bits of him, chat, like, out of the corner. He runs by. He grapples by. They're like, what the fuck? These guys are just going all over the place. Some guys just fucking take off, run in different directions, and he's slowly picking them all off, chat. And then you have, like, one of my I think a lot of people's favorite scene in the movie. You know, I think they had it in the trailer. We had this one guy who's just like, just a sweaty guy. This guy's just so sweaty. He's panic firing at anything. He's like, oh, what? And he's like, where are you? And Batman behind him goes, ah! And he grabs him. He takes him up in the air. Like, I love it. He's hanging upside down, and the guy's screaming, where are you? And Batman's like right next to his ear. Here. And you know he licked him. And you know he licked his ear, chat, before he grabbed him, chat. He takes him up. And Flash sees this, and he's like, holy fucking shit. And he goes back to Carmine Falcone, and he says, you got to get the fuck out of here, man. And he takes off. But Carmine Falcone, like, he's like, he even gets out of the car and he sees Batman. Batman, like, all these guys are like circling the drugs, just trying to get a beat on him, and he just drops right in the middle of them, chat, and he starts taking them out. And this is when we get the quick cuts. It's too close, you can't really tell what's happening. But he beats the shit out of all of them, chat. And Carmine Falcone, he's like, oh, fuck this. And he waddles back to his car, chat, gets in. He's telling the driver, go, go, go. But the driver, chat, he has been severely concussed via a Batman punch or several Batman punches to the face. And he ain't moving. And Tom Wilkinson, he has a sawed-off shotgun. He's trying to put the shells in there, and he's like, Jesus. And then Batman is on the roof. You can hear him moving around. He's like, shit. And he goes, what the hell are you? And then the fucking moon roof crashes through, chat, and Batman grabs him. He goes, nah. And he lifts him up in the air, and then we got another great scene. Goes, and he listens to Tom Wilkinson's like, oh. Batman's like, I'm Batman. And he hits him in the head, and he gives a little smooch. Headbutt smooch. It's a boo-boo, but he headbutts him. Great scene. And then wonderful callback, because there's the hobo from earlier, chat, where he gives Bruce the coat. He says, it's a nice coat. This is a nice coat. And Batman sees him. The hobo's like, holy fucking shit. Batman goes, nice coat. And he goes up in the air. The hobo's like, whoa. And eventually, Jim Gordon, his folks are called down, chat, the GCPD, see, like, what happened here? Did these guys say anything? Like, we can't connect them to Falcone. They're not saying that, but the only thing they are saying is this guy dressed up like a fucking bat just beat the shit out of all of them. And he's like, where's Falcone? He's like, oh, don't worry, we got him too. And he's like, what? And they go down there, chat, and we see Carmine Falcone. He's strapped to this giant industrial searchlight, which, by the way, would be melting his fucking skin, because the light on that thing is so probably hot. And he's like, oh. And you see, chat, the symbol. You see the bat symbol in the sky via Carmine Falcone's big, thick Tom Wilkinson body. And, you know, Jim is like, cut him down. We'll take them all in. It's like, yes, success in Gotham. It just took a few punches to the face, chat, and already things are getting better. Meanwhile, we cut to a wonderful a shot, chat. Anytime we see, like, Bruce or Batman, like, standing up on a precipice, but we see this wonderful helicopter shot where Bruce, you don't even see it at first, he's on a gargoyle overlooking the city, and the cape is draped over this gargoyle, and you see him, and this wide panning shot. It's funny because Christopher Nolan, he loves those wide panning shots. Yeah, because Wally Feister is the cinematographer here. Does great work And so I don't understand it, why he loves doing these wide, very cinematic shots, but with the fight scenes, he goes super close. It's just, I don't get it. But he has this shot, this wonderful panning shot, and then we cut you, it's the morning, and Alfred's like, okay, it's fucking 3 in the afternoon. Even that's kind of, early for Bruce Wayne, or as the papers are calling you, Batman. He's like, oh, they fucking know about it? Yeah, they know about it. You made quite an impression. And Bruce is reading all this shit, and he's like, yes, this is good. And he goes, listen, Master Wayne, I know this is good. Your fight on crime, your vigilantism, your superhero antics. I'm in league with you now. I'm an accessory at this point, okay? I'm helping you out. But you have to also maintain your Bruce Wayne persona, okay? You got to go out there and actually, take an initiative in the community being Bruce Wayne. And Bruce is like, I don't care about that. I want to do push-ups. I just want to do push-ups. And he's like, you might get in touch with Rachel Dawes. He's like, Rachel? He's like, yes, Rachel. And why don't you go have some fun, Bruce? Why don't you go do that? Because the thing is, if you're acting like you're having fun, you might find yourself actually having fun. He goes, okay. And so Bruce is like, let's get dinner. Let's go have some dinner. He has this fancy restaurant chair, driving this really fancy car. And he's got 2 European supermodels in it. Yeah, both of them. One sitting on the other's lap. They got big old bazungas. They got big old booties. And he has them arm in arm. He's going to be talking to Rutger Hauer. Oh, also, there's another scene before this, Chad. So before they do the restaurant scene, we find out Rutger Hauer, he's in Wayne Enterprises, and apparently, Chad, he's being told by one of his underlings, he's like, sir, there's a situation. One of our ships was hijacked by this mysterious organization. And he goes, well, what happened? And he's like, well, the crew was fucking dead. Can't find the crew. No, but one thing was stolen. He goes, what was stolen? It was a microwave emitter, an industrial militarized microwave emitter. And the whole thing, Chad, what a microwave emitter does is that it somehow evaporates an enemy's water supply. So you drop this shit into a combat zone, you turn that sucker on, boop, water gone. How it does not target human bodies, that is not explained, because we got water inside. We're like little water balloons. We're hot water balloons, Chad, okay? And so I don't know why the microwave emitter doesn't microwave our bodies and just goes and makes us all mummified and shit. Not explained. Not explained, but it's like, okay, and they turn it on, and they're like, now it's gone. Now it's gone, and it's not good, and we think Carmine Falcone might have it. It's like, what? And he's like, well, that's not good. And he's like, I got to make sure that doesn't get out there or anything. That'd be quite bad. But then we get the scene later on. Then Bruce is going to the hotel. He's got either of these models arm in arm. He's going in there. He's sitting down with all these fancy rich people. And all these rich people are talking about, I think the Batman is doing a great thing for the community. He's actually taking it to the criminals in Gotham. It's about goddamn time. And one guy's like, this is he's breaking the law. Well, sometimes when we're making an omelet, you gotta break a few criminal heads. And Rutger, and Bruce was like, Bruce, what do you think about this situation? He's like, oh, well, a guy that dresses up like a bat has serious mental issues. And they go, oh. And then you have Rutger Hauer. He's like, what he needs is a straitjacket. That's what he is. One lady's like, we should put a medal on him. He's like, well, what about a straitjacket? And then we see that Bruce's models, they whisper in his ear, and they start stripping. They start stripping in front of everyone, Chad, and they start just going into the fountains and the aquariums, just swimming in them. And the waiter comes on over. And he's like, excuse me, sir, the fountains and the aquariums are not made for swimming. And Bruce is like, hey, buddy, that's great. I'm going to write you a check right here. He says, there you go. And he's like, what is this, sir? Because I'm buying this hotel, all right? And swimming is permitted. And he just fucking goes right over there and just starts swimming with them in the in the fountains and aquariums. Such a perfect playboy Bruce Wayne move to do. He's great. He does a great job of playing this playboy-esque Bruce Wayne, because we've never really gotten that in the Burton or Schumacher films. Bruce was, it's funny, in the Burton films, a lot of people don't even know who the fuck Bruce Wayne is. Like, how do you not know who Bruce Wayne is? Like, everybody else like, I don't know who Bruce Wayne is. I don't know what he looks like. No one does. Are you kidding me? He's one of the wealthiest people in the world. He's like, the equivalent of like a Jeff Bezos or, an Elon Musk, and you're telling me you don't know who the fuck he is? Bullshit. Same with Val Kilmer's take of the character. Same with George Clooney. Like, he's not a playboy. But here he's like, no, he has to maintain that facade, people not to think that he's Batman. Although apparently it doesn't work on Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's like, I knew you were Batman as soon as I saw you. He's like, no, you didn't. You fucking liar. But Anyway, he does all this chat. He's like, having a good time. He's just wet. He's walking out, chat. And the ladies, they go to the car. But you know who he passes by, chat? Rachel. Rachel's there. It's the first time they've seen each other. Well, that she's seen him. He was spying on her as a hobo, trying to make a collect call on the phone earlier in the movie. And saw Fish-Face, District Attorney Fish-Face, give her a little, he got a little smooch on the face. Thank you. Hey, deals with the 3 biddies. Sorry I'm late. Nice to see you reviewing my second favorite Batman movie. Me too, man. It's my second favorite Batman movie as well. Good to see you, AJ Daniels. Hope you're doing very well. It's been an amazing stream. And he's like, Bruce, oh my God, it's been so long. He's like, Rachel, yeah, wow. I wanted to come and see you, but I've been, busy. She goes, yeah, I can tell. And she looks at the supermodels in the car, and they're all like rubbing up on each other. And he's like, yeah, very sexual. And he goes, listen, Rachel, this is not me. I love this line, this delivery he does. I am more. And Rachel tells him, like, listen, Bruce, it's not who you are that defines you. It's what you do that defines you, which is very cutting. It's like, yeah, okay, honey, sure. And then, and very cutting to Bruce, and she walks away. Take care of yourself, okay? Say hi to Alfred for me. And she walks away. He goes, fuck, I fucked it up. And the supermodel's like, Bruce, let's get back in the car. We have more hotels to buy. And then he goes back in the car. Blah, 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 blah. And he drives away. And, at this point, things are getting serious, okay? Because apparently we're in Arkham Asylum, and Dr. Jonathan Crane's little assistant tells him that apparently Carmine Falcone tried to slit his wrists, tried to commit suicide, and he was asking for you, specifically his doctor. And he's like, shit. And so he goes and talks to Carmine Falcone. Carmine's been being all facetious, sarcastic. It's like, Doc, the walls are closing in on me. I have to off myself. Blah, blah, blah. All right, can we fucking talk like adults here? And he's like, what do you want? He's like, I want to make sure you get me out of prison, out of this goddamn nut house. He's like, I can't do that right now. It's not able to. He's like, no, with the contacts you have, the guy, I know who you work for, this Raj Al Ghul, all right? No, you tell him to get me out of here, and I'll pay him whatever you want. He's like, the deal has changed. What the fuck are you talking about? Now, I'm going to give you a new deal, Doc, all right? How about I let everyone fucking know about what's really in those drugs? Yeah, I've done my research. I did some digging. I know there's something fucked up in them. And I'm sure a lot of medical experts, I'm sure the goddamn DA's office and the GCPD and whoever else, any federal official will be there just to see what's going on here and who you fucking work for. And Dr. Crane, he's like, all right, you pushed me too far. And he just says, would you like to see my mask? And Carmine's like, what the fuck you talking mask? He's like, listen, I know it might not be intimidating to you, but the crazies, they just can't stand it. And he turns on the gate, flips a switch on his briefcase and goes, psh, and he puts the mask on Carmine Falcone. He's like, and he goes, because Carmine, then I love the scarecrow effects. Someone sees like something different each time. Like sometimes it's maggots, sometimes it's bats coming out of his mouth, all sort of worms and shit. And he's just like moving around. Carmen's like, and he freaks out. Basically, scares him, Chad. He scares him insane, which is pretty goddamn cool. Really, really creepy scene. But eventually, this time Jonathan Crane's like, shit, now it's gotten serious. I have to make sure all evidence connecting the League of Shadows to Carmine Falcone are burned and destroyed. So we got to go after any other substances that might be out there so the plan can go forward. Thank you, everyone, for the 4 biddies. Would you like to see? We'd like to see my mask. Pulls out Sonic. Chat, would you like to see my mask? I mean, the crazies. I know for someone like you might not be scared by, but the crazies, they can't stand it. Oh, I love it, chat. So after this, this point, Scarecrow's like, I got to make sure all this evidence is burned. But, Batman, he's like, well, I got to get out there and find the rest of these drugs and see how this is all connected to Carmine Falcone. Make sure he's put behind bars forever. And so he has to go to the place where he knows how the drugs are, which apparently is the Narrows. The Narrows, which is literally Arkham City. Like, you have Gotham, it's Chicago, it looks like modern day Chicago, but you have this one little island in the middle of the city that is just made of trash. That's all it is, just trash and spare parts, and it's called the Narrows. So Arkham Asylum is also there, chat. It's where the worst of the worst Gotham's criminals are all living. It just looks awful. And it's a cool design. I'm not hating against it. Like, I would have wished the Narrows was featured in the other films. They just abandoned it later. It's like, nah, fuck it. Even this at the end of the movie, Jim Gordon says the Narrows are lost. We can't go back there now. It's like, it's literally like ground zero. Like, that's like Mad Max-esque Escape from New York territory. We're not fucking with that. Which is like, all right, whatever. But Batman, he goes there, chat, and we see that he's observing where some of the drugs are. He sees them in his fucking window. He's like, I gotta get those drugs. And then who fucking comes on out, chat? Joffrey Baratheon, a very young Joffrey Baratheon, chat, and fucking Robert Baratheon, and seriously, they're going out, they're smacking each other, and he comes on outside. He's Batman. He's like, holy shit. He's like, yeah. And by the way, kids like 5 has the best American accent. Like, you could not be able to tell this kid is British at all, chat, or Irish. I guess he's Irish, but not. You don't hear a hint of that Irish accent. And he comes out. He's like, whoa, you are real. I knew it. The other kids at school, oh, he's beat me up, and they don't believe me, but you are. And Batman sees this kid. Like, I like that. Batman has a soft spot for children. In any form of media, I like that he has, because he gets very mad anytime like crime, children get involved with crime or crime is affecting them anyway, because it reminds him of his own childhood. And I like that. Like the Batman is using these very advanced binoculars that probably cost $1,000 upon $1,000, and he flips them, closes them, and just gives it to the kid. It's like, there you go. Now they'll believe you. It just gives it to him, which I thought was kind of cool. And then he goes inside this apartment, chat, and he finds the droogs. But then he hears someone coming up the stairs and getting through the door. He goes, yeah, shit. And he's got to hide shit. So he hides in the bathroom. And who walks in there? Dr. Jonathan Caine with a couple of fucking goons. And what have they brought? Gasoline, which is not smart, chat. They'll never get this right in movies. But if you're going to burn something down, don't use gasoline. When you expose gasoline to an open flame, what does gasoline do? Explode. It explodes. What you want to use is kerosene. Kerosene is what you need to use to burn something, and this is very much gasoline. And so they start spreading it, like, all right, destroy it, make sure everything's burned away. And so they start spreading this all over the goddamn place. And Batman's like, hell no. One guy's like, I gotta go take a piss. And he goes to the bathroom, and he's like, yeah, he starts pissing, chat. And he looks in the mirror, and Batman grabs his dick and goes, oh! And he punches him in the face at the same time. He falls in the toilet, chat. And, Jonathan Crane's like, shit. And you have this one guy who's like, hey, Bobby, are you okay in there? Do you need any help? And he goes in, Batman punches him in the face and, takes him out. Jonathan Caine, he puts on this scarecrow mask and goes, pocket sand! He unleashes the pocket sand attack. He's like, ugh, and pocket sand. And then Batman, he sees all the bats coming out of scarecrow. Cool effect. All coming out of his eye sockets and out of his mouth. And he's like, he starts freaking out and everything. And he's like, you must be the Batman. And he starts like throwing all this alcohol and gasoline on Batman. Batman doesn't even know what the fuck's happening at this point. And he goes, you know what? You want my advice, man? You should lighten up. Which is a little bit, that's a pun. Not a great pun. But he fucking sets Batman on fire, which should explode. It would have blown them both back. But he throws it, and Batman is lit on fucking fire. And Batman's like, I love that he just fucking panics. Because you would panic when you're, chill out. It was like a little wink and a tip of the hat to the Schumacher days of many puns, chat. Ice and or bat puns. And so I love it though, because Batman, he doesn't like, don't worry, this suit is invulnerable to flames, and I could put myself out easily. I have countermeasures. No, he flips the fuck out because he's on fire, and he just goes through the fucking window, and he just falls all the way down. Thankfully, it's always raining in the Narrows. It's never not raining, and he just falls down. His cape is all matted and fucked up, so he can't glide anymore, and he's just trying to put himself out. He's also still exposed to the effects of the scarecrow gas, chat, the pocket sand. And he's like, I have pocket sand. And he gets his grappling hook because all the people are like, what the fuck? Is that the Batman? And he grapples himself away. He gets up on this roof, but he's like so out of his mind. He's like, he just calls Alfred. He has a goddamn flip phone, which I think is funny. It shows how old the movie is. But he pulls out this little flip phone. He's like, Alfred, help me. And that's it. How does Alfred track him down? I don't know. Does he have like a little homing device in him? I guess. How did fucking Alfred get him off the roof? These are questions I have. These are questions I have, and they're not answered. And then we cut to Alfred, Chad, who's driving back home with Batman just going, there's poison in me. Oh, the poison's in me. It's like, oh shit, so he's poisoned, Chad. And then we cut. And apparently it's 2 days later, Batman, Bruce has come to, and Alfred's like, it's like, oh, you're finally awake. He's like, Batman's like, how long has it been? It's been 2 days. And I'm glad I actually called Lucius. He said, what are you talking about? Lucius comes in. Yeah, I know you're fucking Batman. I should have known when I gave you the tank that you were up to something. And he's like, yeah, I looked at your blood and your condition was worsening. I managed to synthesize an antidote and save your life. It's some kind of chemical compound. I've never seen this before. And Bruce is like, I felt these effects before, but never this potent. This is very, very strange. And he's like, this is serious. I don't know what the hell this is, but it must be connected to these drugs. And he looks at the samples, like, can you analyze these drugs that I found? And could you make more of this antidote? He's like, yeah, sure, I can go ahead and do that. He's like, cool, go ahead and do that. And Morgan Freeman, he goes and makes more of the antidote. Meanwhile, Bruce is like, I got to keep investigating this. But Alfred's like, what are you talking about? Tonight's your birthday. He's like, I don't give a shit about my birthday. He's like, Jesus Christ, Bruce, you're going to have to fucking do this, all right? It's very important. You have to maintain your facade. Like, the only thing that's left of your family name is you. Okay? All right? You have to respect your name. I don't care about name. I don't care about anything. It's like, Bruce, if you maintain this, if you go down this path, you're going to start to lose things, which actually never really does happen, Chad. Because of the fact he became Batman, he lost a lot, Chad. He lost Rachel. It was the escalation with the Joker. Alfred was right. He's always right. He has that sage advice. That's what inevitably happened. And so, Ben's like, I gotta fucking deal with this problem, okay? Meanwhile, he's like, I'm gonna go out as Batman. You fucking stall the guests. I'll be back in a bit. I gotta stop the scarecrow, okay? Meanwhile, Rachel Dawes, I missed another thing too. So there's another great scene I missed in the movie, chat. In order for him to get to the apartment, he confronted Flash. And Flash did a really shitty thing. Like, Flash is all corrupt. He's all fat and he's eating shit. Robs the falafel guy. He's like, yeah, give me the falafel. And he takes like $40 and he's like, Flash, I got kids to feed. They don't like falafel. And he goes away. He moves away. And Batman, he fucking grapple hooks Flash, chat. And Flash is like, oh, Jesus Christ. He's like, where are the drugs going? He's like, I don't know. There's just something in the drugs, man. There's something in the drugs. He's like, what else do you know? He's like, it's fucking connected to Dr. Jonathan Caine and Carmine Falcone. That's all I know. I swear to me. And he's like, and he fucking drops it. I forgot about that scene. Excuse me, he drops the fat guy. He goes, oh, he's okay though, Che. He's fat. He has a soft fall. He's okay. I can't believe I forgot the swear to me scene, Che, but it's a great fucking scene. And that is peak. That is fucking peak Bale Batman voice. Swear to me. Also up there with, where's the trigger? You never give it to an ordinary citizen. All that shit. Also, Flash tells him, oh, yeah, we're going to go ahead and try to kill Rachel Dawes. She's sniffing around too much. And we don't like it. And so, at that point, he goes, after he does the thing with Flash, he then makes sure Rachel's okay. She's about to be confronted by two goons. She's about to taser one of them. But Batman, he punches somebody, punches a few people, and he says, Rachel. And he's like, oh, Jesus Christ, you're Batman. He's like, I am. You rattled Carmine Falcone's cage, and that's a problem. You're going to have to dig deeper, you'll find the truth. And she's like, I'll need the DA to help me with that. He's going to get the DA fish face to help you. And he's like, I need to get going. He does the Batman. He's gone. She's like, cool. And so she gets the fish face guy. And, she's like, we can start, moving on Carmine Falcone. He's in the asylum right now. I'm going to try to get him out of there because I think it's bullshit. He's being kept there. He's a criminal. Should be in jail. So I'm going to handle Carmine Falcone. You go ahead and figure out what this package is. Batman tells her about the crate. This no one can get access to, and the docs apparently is very secret, and all shall be revealed. And so Fish Face DA, he goes there with a couple of cops, and they're like, sir, this is Carmine Falcone's crate. We don't even want to know what's inside of it. So things are changing here, because he can't breathe on land. He's like, things are changing around here, so open the crate. And they open the crate, and what's inside the crate, chat? The microwave emitter. And he's like, what the hell is this? And then he's shot in his fish face. His fish face is shot, chat. He had another 2 shots for good measure. And Fish Face DA is dead, but it will lead eventually, Chet, his death will eventually lead to Harvey Dent becoming DA of Gotham. I don't know why Rachel didn't become, she was assistant DA, so why didn't she just become DA? That's what I'm confused about. I don't know why. It was sexism, chat. Sexism. That's the answer. She should have became DA. She could have been female Two-Face. Cool. And so at this point, She also goes and visits Bruce, who's on his way out, and, you know, he's like, I'm sorry, Rachel, I gotta do a couple of things. She goes, I know, listen, I just want to make sure that you're doing okay. I'm sorry for those mean things I said. He's like, no, you were right about those things. I'm gonna try to do better. You know, don't you worry. She goes, okay, well, you know, I'm a little scared right now. And he's like, well, what's wrong? He's like, well, my fucking boss, my DA, and your boyfriend, he's been gone for like 3 days. No one knows what happened to him. And usually in this town, that means that he's dead. Fish-faced DA is dead. And I just want to stop by and just let you know I'm thinking about you, and maybe we'll see each other in the future. Just let me know. Just please stay safe, Bruce. And she gives him a little present. He's a little present. He takes the present, she opens it up. It's the arrowhead that they culturally appropriated back in their youth. And he's like, yes, cultural appropriation. I will sell this for money. And so then he's like, all right, Alfred, I got to figure out this whole situation because, as she said, I'm going to go talk to Dr. Jonathan Caine and make sure to get Carmine Falcone's fat ass out of that asylum. He's like, I can't let her near Caine at all. And so he fucking runs down. He runs down the back. I love that he keeps the bat. Because the Batcave is still ongoing. It's a prototype. I love that he keeps the bat suit in like this wooden cabinet, and he takes this shit out. He puts the whole thing fucking on. Like every situation happened at the end of the movie? Whatever. Yeah, it happened around the same time. We're at the final act at this point. So she gave him the arrowhead. I knew she went to the mansion to ask how he was feeling. That's what it was. But at this point, Chad, he puts on the suit, and he's heading over to Arkansas. Meanwhile, good old Rachel Dawes, she is observing Tom Wilkinson's Carmine Falcone going, Scarecrow, Scarecrow, and all that shit. And he's like, why the fuck's he saying Scarecrow? He's like, well, he's had a psychotic episode, and for whatever reason, his obsession is now a scarecrow. Me. But she doesn't know that yet. And he's like, well, I want all this fucking paperwork right now. I'm going to test his blood. He's like, all right, first thing in the morning. She's like, no, now. Now we're going to sign this shit. We're going to get a person down here and see what you have him on. He's like, okay, let's go ahead and do that. We'll report to my offices. And they go in this really creepy elevator, and they go into the bowels of Arkham Asylum, chat. And he's like, right this way. And this is the asbestos hallway, chat. It is just filled with asbestos everywhere. And he leads her down the asbestos hallway, opens this big fucking door, and we see this giant fucking factory of all these Arkham inmates just making a whole bunch of drugs, chat. And where are they pouring all the drugs, chat? Right into the Gotham water supply, which, by the way, I think it's so cool. Like, they're pouring all the fear toxin into the Gotham water supply, chat. This is straight from the Batman animated series, where Scarecrow, in this, I think it's like the Scarecrow's second or third appearance, in where what he's been doing is he's been using the inmates at Arkham to mass produce his fear toxin and putting it into the Gotham water supply, which I'm like, I've seen this before. And so I wonder, I don't mind it, at all, but I wonder if Nolan was inspired by that episode, like, doing his research on Scarecrow, and he's like, oh, this is actually a good idea, for the third act and everything with the microwave emitter and shit. And at this point, Rachel's like, this is very illegal. And, Scarecrow is, at this point, he's like, you look a little pale, Rachel. Maybe you should have some medicine. Help yourself to something. She fucking takes off running, chat. She's like, fuck. And she gets in an elevator, chat. She closes the elevator, pushes the button, chat. The elevator opens up. And what does she see? Scarecrow, pocket sand. And she gets pocket sand in the face. And it's like, oh, no. And they drag her out. They drag her over there. And they put her on a fucking slab and shit. And he's like, tell me what you know. What do you know? Why are you investigating us? And he's like, tell me. All these maggots are falling out of his mouth. She's like, it's scary. And then all the fucking lights shut off. All the lights get cut off. And you hear the Hans Zimmer, James Newton Howard score come in. Great. And they're like, oh, shit. By the way, I love how simple the design for Scarecrow's costume is. Business suit attire with the bag mask. Works perfectly, chat. Works perfectly. But, all the people are like, oh, shit, what the fuck's going on? And then, Caine takes the mask off and he goes, it's the Batman. And they're like, oh, shit, I've heard things about him. Can he really fly? And Caine goes, we shall see. Take care of him. He's like, what about her? He's like, oh, no, I gave her a concentrated dose of pocket sand. The mind can only take so much pocket sand. And he's like, she'll be dead soon enough. And he hides in a corner, and Batman systematically takes all these motherfuckers down, chat, one by one, grappling them, just thick thigh attacking them, like he just launches himself like a monkey on them, chat. Has his thighs around their entire bodies and just lifts them up in the air, chat. It's like, Jesus Christ. And eventually he takes every single one of them down. Until fucking Dr. Jonathan Caine is just hiding like a little bitch, is like, oh, and he tries to use pocket sand on Batman. Batman's like, not this time. Breaks his fucking arm. And he rips the mask off of Jonathan Caine. He's like, a little bit of your own medicine, doctor, and sprays him with the pocket sand. Dr. Crane's like, and then he's like, oh, and Batman is turning into this like weird, like abomination bat creature who has like this tar spittle like running down his mouth. Interesting take, interesting thing. He's like, Caine, who are you working for? And he's like, Caine. He's like, I'm working for Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul is dead. He's like, no, he's alive. He's alive. And he's like, Caine, tell me more. And Crane's like, I'm sorry, Dr. Crane's not here right now. He punches him in the face. He punches him in the face, chat, because at this point, he's got to get Rachel home. He's like, there's a lot of information that has been fucking revealed at this point. This is serious. It's just some serious goddamn business. And so he goes ahead and he takes Rachel, but he's got to get in contact with his, oh, that's the other thing. I missed the scene, chat. So there's also another scene, too, in the movie where he meets Jim Gordon after the events of getting Carmine Falcone at the docks, and he confronts Jim at his house. We see a very little Barbara Gordon, little baby Barbara Gordon, chat, and he's talking with them. And he's like, oh shit, Jesus fuck. And he's like, listen, Jim, you know, I know we got off to a wrong start. It looks like you were trying to kill me last time. He's like, sorry, it was a stapler. It wasn't a gun, it was a stapler. But I just wanted you to know that we got to work together, okay? Can you trust me? Can you trust me? I'm trying to protect the citizens of Gotham. It's okay. He's like, well, I can do right by the people of Gotham, and if you have them in your best interest, and I will help you. And he's gone. He goes, but I've been wrong before. I've been wrong before. So he has a rapport with Jim Gordon at this point in the movie. Eventually, though, the asylum, the alarms have gone. Caine told everyone to call the police at this point because they're not gonna be able to stop what's coming now because we've been dumping this shit in the water supply for fucking weeks. So it's like shit. It's already done. All the police start arriving, and Batman like has nowhere to go at this point. It's like, shit, how am I going to get out of here? But the one hope that he has, Chad, is Jim Gordon. And eventually Jim Gordon, he arrives in the scene, like everyone's just, holding for backup, waiting for the SWAT team. This is very similar to the action scene in Year One when you have the SWAT team invade and try to kill Batman. But Jim Gordon goes in there, and he it's great because he's walking down the hallway trying to look for him, and Batman just goes right down on Jim Gordon and lifts him up in the air. He's like, oh, and takes him to Rachel. He's like, holy fucking shit, that was horrifying. Sorry, Jim, I didn't mean to scare you. He's like, what's wrong with her? She's been exposed to some type of chemical, okay? It's very bad. What I need you to do is you need to take her downstairs and make sure to get her out of all the shit that I'm about to pull. He's like, okay, and you'll wait for my signal. And he's like, sure. And he's like, what are you going to do? I'm going to call back up. Because all of a sudden they start hearing, he takes off this little switch on his shoe, he removes it, and he presses this big fucking fat red button, chat. And you hear this, it's like, what is that? And Flash is on the scene. He's like, what is it? Oh! And it's a whole giant fucking army of bats, shit. Apparently they have acute hearing, and they hear the little beeper, the little bat beeper that Batman has. And they start attacking the police, and they bust into the building as the SWAT team is going up the stairs. And, Jim Gordon, he's going down the stairs with Rachel like this, while Batman, he does a really fucking cool thing. He grapples down. It's such a cool shot where he unfurls his cape, chat, and he descends down the stairwell. It's really fucking badass. The Elite, thank you for resubscribing on a 5 months on a 5-month streak. Thank you for the support. This is an example of a very good action scene right here. He goes down there and he's just walking shit, like all the bats around him. He has control of all this shit, and they're like, oh, everyone's like freaking out. And he goes out the door, and Jim Gordon has Rachel carrying her down. Eventually they go down there, and he's like, well, where do you want me to put her? And then he's like, don't worry. And the fucking tumbler shows up, chat. It's on autopilot, opens up, go ahead and put her in there. And he's like, well, fucking good luck to you. He's like, stay safe, Jim. Stay safe. And then we get one of the best chase scenes in the movie. It's awesome. I love what they do with the tumbler here, chat, where the car is literally jumping off rooftops. Like, I love that's what the line the police have. Thank you, Glee, for resubscribing. 10 months, nearly 2 months away from a full year working on Mr. Revan 10. This is a one long ass review. It is. It's a long movie, Chad. It's 2+ hours. I knew it would be. Well, we did take a brief period to enjoy a very kind hype train from the people, which is great. So thank you. Trying to give you all that class for your ass today, Chad. That's what I'm doing. But we get an excellent chase scene where he goes, all the thing, like he's on the road being chased by all these cop cars, which he definitely killed some police officers. There's no doubt about that. He's using all these gadgets on them. Cars are fucking flipping over, hitting concrete pillars and things. But I love that we have that one scene where he literally, like, he goes up this parking garage and you got all these helicopters around him. He's like, oh, that's it. He's nowhere to go. We got him. And he just he gets like, there's this battle mode for the Batmobile. Where he takes it and he like goes forward with these two things, blasts with these rockets, part of the top of the concrete barrier for the parking garage, and launches himself and continues to launch himself off a rooftop, which is so fucking cool. And you have the one cop going, he's driving on rooftops, and eventually he lands. But even though it's a fucking tank, the police eventually fucking lose because it has stealth systems, chat. He can shut down, apparently, parts of the electrical grid with electromagnetic pulses, and he does that, and he completely masks him. The police do eventually spot him, chat, but, he takes off. He manages to get away from all the police, blasting certain areas, driving against traffic, driving with traffic. It's a wonderful, the choreography for this chase sequence is superb, chat. Again, much like the Dark Knight chase sequence with the Batpod and the Joker's truck. Very, very, very good. Eventually, he goes down a dirt road, chat, and Rachel's just seeing a lot of crazy shit. She's seeing, like, little lights and shit. She's like, And then we have the famous line of Batman going, Rachel! And eventually, he launches himself. In order to get out of the Batcave shit, you got to launch yourself over this waterfall. He goes in there, takes her out of the fucking thing, lifts her, he's like, puts her on the slab, and just pushes the medicine inside of her booty. And gets her a good old booty butt shot. Boom. And then it's like, she's cured. And then she wakes up. She comes to and she's like, what the fuck happened? Oh, my God. And she's Batman. He's like, where am I? He's like, you're in my Batcave right now. So you're a lot of crazy shit. Dr. Jonathan Caine he's evil. He's working for someone. And you got to make sure when you come to, here is the antidote. You, as for someone else and for another person, you'll give one of these to Jim Gordon. Let him know the situation. Things are going to get bad. Does it smell like chloroform to you? And he chloroforms her, chat. Gives him the Cosby special, but not the Cosby aftermath. And he says, okay, now he takes, this is very weird. He takes off his mask, chat, and there's no black makeup. Why not just have the black makeup there? Every time they do that, they remove the black makeup. Anyway, takes off the cowl, and he goes upstairs. Alfred is fucking pissed. He's like, what the fuck was that outside? Because he sees he has the news on. It's the tumble in the Batmobile. They've been filming it. And I love Bruce's line. I think that's some damn good television. He's like, you think so, don't you? But listen, this is the way. What you're doing is dangerous, Bruce, okay? I mean, there'd be repercussion for something like this, all right? The Wayne name still matters to a lot of people. He's like, I don't care about my name. You should, because you're the last one. All right, so go ahead and greet your guests and try to be normal. And he's like, don't worry, Alfred, I will be. By the way, Rachel's downstairs. I chloroformed her. Can you put her in your car and drive her back to her place? Would appreciate it. He goes, fuck. And so Alfred goes downstairs, grabs Rachel, and like waddles out with her, puts her in the car, while all the staff watch him do this. And he goes, sorry, she drank. I'm not going to do anything bad. I'm just going to drive her home for the love of God. And he does so. He drives her home. Eventually, Wayne, he's just schmoozing with all his guests. We see Rutger Hauer. Oh, yeah, Rutger Hauer, chat. Because of the microwave emitter thing, doesn't want to connect it to Wayne Enterprises. So what he did was, chat, he went down to R&D, and he asked Morgan Freeman. He's like, hey, Morgan Freeman, how you doing? He's like, oh, Rutger Hauer, nice. I'm doing okay. He goes, listen, can you give me any files, physical, software, and just put them on my desk, like, by the end of the day? And he's like, well, what files for what? He goes, for the microwave emitter. And he goes, sure. What's the reason? Just, you don't need to know that. You don't need to know that. I mean, he's like, that's like a weapon of mass destruction. And, our contracts for that kind of thing expired years ago. We didn't have it out there in the open. Rickard was like, no, just have all those on my desk. And he's like, I feel uncomfortable with this. He's like, listen, oh, by the way, you're fired. Which at that point he says you're fired. I'd be like, oh, fuck you. I'm not going to do that. But apparently he does it anyway. He fired him. He fired the only black man that works at Wayne Enterprises, chat. That's racism right there, plain and simple. And so fired him. He got all the files. Goes and talks to Rutger Hauer's there. Talks to Bruce Wayne. Goes, hey, yeah, I fired the only black man who works for us. Also, The company went public the other day, sold a whole bunch of shares, stocks skyrocketed, man. Diamond hands to the moon, baby, to the moon. And Bruce is like, oh, that's good. What companies bought us? Oh, all sorts of businesses, small businesses, tech companies, medical companies, whatever. All you need to know is, Bruce, we're making the fucking money, baby. He goes, sounds good, Rutger Hauer. See you later. Bruce then, he goes ahead and sees Morgan Freeman, and he goes, Morgan Freeman, what's up? He's like, I got fucking fired. He's like, oh my God, Morgan, I'm so sorry. He goes, yeah, Rutger Hauer fired me. And apparently it's, it's connected to this fucking microwave emitter. And Bruce is like, well, the microwave emitter, like a thing that would like evaporate water. And he goes, yeah, that's what it would probably do. He's like, oh, fucking shit. And then we cut back to Jim Gordon and his boys. Apparently they're analyzing the water, chat, and they find out apparently they've been dumping this scarecrow fear toxin in it for weeks. And the guy goes, it's like, Jim's like, so we've been drinking all this? He goes, yeah, but this toxin, it's only active in a gaseous form. And that's when Bruce is making all the connections, like the microwave emitter. If it's activated, it will evaporate the water in Gotham and plunge Gotham into fucking chaos. Holy shit! Morgan Freeman, can you make more of this right now? Because not on a massive scale for millions of people. He's like, can you make as much as you can? He's like, yes, but I don't have my access codes. I'm fired. Has that ever stopped you before? No, it has not. I'm just going to break in, racist. And he fucking goes. What was Bruce implying? We're just like, well, has it ever stopped you before committing a crime? It's like, what the fuck do you mean? Bruce Wayne. I was questioning that line. But he goes, eventually this rich lady comes to Bruce. Bruce, I just want you to meet this one person. I mean, he goes, yeah, okay. All right, he's got a schmooze chat. He's got good with appearances. He's like, come. Bruce, I'm interested. Now, am I saying your name correctly, Mr. Ra's al Ghul? And Bruce is like, what the fuck? And this guy turns around, chat, but it's just some Asian guy. And he's like, you're not Ra's al Ghul. I watched him die. He's dead. And then who fucking comes up behind him, Chad? He's like, yes, but can Ra's al Ghul be immortal? Can he be many people? And can it be passed down? And it's fucking Liam Neeson, chat. Liam Neeson, he wasn't Henri Ducard. He was the real Ra's al Ghul the whole time. Or, now, I thought about this because he brings up the immortal line, which is a reference to the fact that Ra's al Ghul in the comics is immortal via the Lazarus Pits. But what if Ra's al Ghul is a title passed down? That could be it. So in a way, Ra's al Ghul is immortal. Is the title, the name is passed down to the leader of the League of Assassins, the League of Shadows. Maybe. It's just a thought I had. But Bruce is like, you hid your name from me just like you hid your true intentions for Gotham. He goes, yeah, I did all that. He's like, so is Dr. Jonathan Crane a member of the League of Shadows? He's like, no, fuck that guy. No, we were simply using him as a pawn. And we were going to use we gave him our blue flowers, which he weaponized for his fear toxin, and we're going to unleash complete fucking chaos in Gotham City. And Bruce is like, holy shit, thank you. By the way, to Vlel-Stat77, Vlel, you're my new Huckleberry. Appreciate you. I kind of like the idea that Kimonte was as rousing. Well, could have been, passed down. I liked it too, but I did like this third act reveal. Like, oh, you're the real Ra's al Ghul. It was just a facade. It was just a trick the whole time. But at this point, oh, thank you, Indian Boot Man. Think of the follow. You're also my new Huckleberry. All of this support has been absolutely overwhelming, Jeanette. Thank you so much. Hope you're enjoying the review. And basically, Ra's al Ghul's like saying, yeah, we're going to fucking burn down this whole goddamn city. We're going to start here. We're going to start with your own house. And he's like, Bruce is like, listen, your quarrels with me, your fights with me, not in these people. And he's like, hey, man, that's collateral damage. That's on you. That's not on us. And Bruce is like, unless you want to do something about it. And Bruce is like, fuck. And so what he does is amazing acting from Christian Bale right here, chat, where playing drunk is actually very hard. You can sometimes go too extreme. He nails it with a slight slur of his words and just perfectly looks like he's inebriated. And he's like, hey, everyone, I have a little toast to make. I just want to thank everyone for being here on my birthday. By the way, we see that Bruce is 30 years old. See the big 3-0 in the background? It's like confirmed. He's like, just want to thank you for being here and drinking all my booze. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I just want to thank all you two-faced phonies, all you elitists, all you people that smile at me and sneer at me when my back is turned. No, just thank you for being the biggest pieces of shit out there. Congratulations, Gotham. You're great. You know what you guys can fucking do right now? Don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking touch me. You know what guys you can all do right now? You could just go. Just get the fuck out. Leave me alone. Get out of my house. Go. And they all start leaving except for all of Ra's al Ghul's guys. Great fucking scene, great fucking scene. And Ra's al Ghul's like, pretty goddamn good, clever. But it's not going to stop what's about to come, all right? It's not going to stop. And Bruce is like, listen, let me save Gotham, okay? Let me do it my way. It's like, I think, it's like, I heard about your little theatrics that you're doing, hopping around as this bat individual, okay? But it's not going to stop what's been doing. We've been doing this for thousands of years. We sacked Rome. We put plague infected rats on trade ships. We burned London to the ground. We have always, I love this detail, like this is how long the League of Shadows has been in operation, Chad. They've been causing chaos around the world. We make sure to hit the reset button, and so everything goes back to how it should be. And yes, people die. People die every goddamn day, Bruce, but that's the way it is. And it's like, and Gotham is that next shining city. But you know what? We adapted. We did certain things. Instead of, unloading plague rats, instead of burning cities to the ground, we decided to handle Gotham in a new way a couple decades ago. Economics. But, and they created the Depression, Chat. They created a faux depression in Gotham, focusing on the criminal element, making sure that business is shut down. It's pretty fucking evil and deceptive. But there were certain people that got in the way. People such as your parents, which I guess implies that Ra's and the League of Shadows were involved in the death of the Waynes. I guess so. He's like, people like your parents. I mean, straight up fucking says it. And Bruce is like, you motherfucker. My parents are dead. And he's like, Bruce, come on now. You should know this. Anytime you want to get something done, you walk up behind someone and stab them in the heart. And then he starts setting fire all the blaze, like, hey, you burn my house down, I'm going to burn your fucking house down. Bruce is like, they start fighting and everything. And Bruce is like, I will fucking stop you. He's like, you never learn to mind your surroundings. And he throws him, Chat, and a big old fucking fiery log falls on Bruce. He's like, you burn my house down, I'm going to burn your house down. Consider us even. He fucking gets out of Dodge. He just leaves as Wayne Manor starts fucking burning. Meanwhile, Alfred, he dropped off Rachel. She comes to, and she's like, I gotta get these to fucking Jim Gordon at this point. Thank you, Deb, for the 5 minutes. Fun fact: when the party gets to Bruce Wayne, is Senator Patrick Leahy, who has been in 5 minutes. Yeah, he was in Batman and Robin. He was in the Dark. He was in this one. He was in the Dark Knight. He was in Dark Knight Rises. He's the one that Joker, you remind me of my father. He's that guy. And I guess he was in Batman v Superman, I suppose. I don't remember. But yeah, it's cool. But yeah, Rachel, she's got to get to Jim Gordon, give him the antidote, so when he's exposed to the fear toxin and shit. Meanwhile, Alfred gets back home. He's like, shit, oh God, and he runs in there, Chad. Poor Mike Caine. I heard your cries echo through this hallway, and he goes in. He's not gonna hear any more fucking cries echo through the hallway, and he sees Bruce. He sees the logs on him. And he's like trying to lift it off of him. And, I love the great line from Michael Caine. It's like, oh, those fucking push-up and you can't lift a bloody log. And he's like, okay. And he lifts it off himself, Chad. And he get there and, Alfred's helping him. And they got to go to the Batcave, Chad. So they hit the piano keys. The secret door opens. And they go down the Civil War era elevator and go boom. And this big explosion happens behind them, and they're going down super fast, and it hits the bottom, and Bruce is just cries like, it's all gone, Alfred, I've destroyed it, it's all burned away. And Alfred looks at him and says, no, it isn't. No, it's not burned away. It lives on in you, okay? You are Bruce Wayne, and you're Batman, and what the fuck are you gonna do about it? He's like, I'm gonna punch crime in the face. Hell yeah, you are! And they do the bro fist, like Arnold Carweather style shit, like, argh! And he goes to the fucking wooden cabinet, Chet, opens that shit up and puts that shit on. Time to get going. Meanwhile, Rachel, she gives the antidote to Jim Gordon, and apparently they're locking down the Narrows, Chet, because the League of Shadows, they freed all the prisoners, all the inmates of Arkham, Chet. They put on, they killed the guard, they stabbed the shit out of all the guards, Chet. Jim Gordon, during this, he's also interviewing Jonathan Crane, trying to find out what the fuck's in the water, Dr. Crane, and all Dr. Crane is saying, scarecrow. And he's like, Crane, he's like, oh, you can't stop it. It's just the way it is. And while this is all going on, Chad, eventually all the improvised explosive devices in C4, boom, blow big holes inside of Arkham. at this point, and all the fucking Arkham inmates start running out. They start running out, and like there's chaos in there as Jim Gordon comes out with Flash, and they have to lock down the entire island because they have like, oh Jesus, like 1,000 Arkham inmates just out there right now, running amok, attacking people, murdering people, doing all sorts of things. It's like, holy fucking shit. This has gotten very serious. Scarecrow is escaped. He fucking murders a cop. He rides, which I think is funny, a horse. So he's like Ichabod Crane, and he's riding on top of it, chat. Very cool. Rachel Dawes, she goes in there. She's like, I'm fucking assistant DA. I can be on the island. And it's like, okay. And so she walks up there. Eventually, Chad, we see the little Joffrey Baratheon, and he has come upon the League of Shadows, Chad, and they're about to unleash the microwave emitter, and like, I love it because they all have these fucking like the masks on. Liam Neeson puts on this very Bane-esque mask. I thought he was going to say, all right, everyone, yes, we have to begin. I was like, that was a lost opportunity, and I love it because he puts on this mask and he sounds clear as fucking day. And I'm like, why does he sound clear as fucking day? And Tom Hardy, I can barely understand a word he's saying. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. But he turns it on, and he's like, all right, everyone. That's the thing. Because the little boy, little Joffrey Baratheon, he goes up, and he goes, I can't find my mom. And they fucking hit him in the face. They just hit him in the face. And Rachel sees it. She's like, what the fuck? And then Rachel Al Ghul steps out. He's like, okay, everyone, what's the word of the day? The word, my friend, is fear. And he pressed the button, and boom, micro emitter goes off and starts evaporating all the water in the Narrows, chat. And everyone starts being exposed to fear toxin. Arkham inmate and Gotham citizen alike, all the GC, because all the police is there, they're all exposed to the fear toxin as well. And it's just complete fucking chaos at this point. Flash, he's like, I've seen all this crazy shit. Jim Gordon, he inoculates himself. He puts the antidote inside of his body at that point. And eventually, he's calling Commissioner Loeb saying, we got to send more fucking people there. We need backup. He's like, Jim, everything we have is on that island with you. We got nothing. There is no backup coming. And then, whoa, Batman comes out of the fucking right behind him, chat, with the giant fucking tumbler. Heads right over there, chat. Backup is fucking coming. That backup is Batman, chat. And he lands on there and he starts punching crime in the fucking face. Anytime he sees someone coming at him, punch. And eventually, he confronts Flash. Thank you, Glee, with 100 biddies. I have to leave to watch Cobra Kai with the wife. Definitely going to catch up in this. Thank you, Glee. Yeah, I'm at the final act. We're right here, Glee. But no, enjoy yourself. Enjoy your time watching Cobra Kai with the wife. And so he gets there, chat. Flash has confronted two people. He's confronted two teenagers who he's about to shoot them, chat. He's like, rah. He's all skull-faced now, and the two teenagers have like little white eyes. Batman punches the shit out of him. Or no, Jim Gordon, he whacks a Flash, and he incapacitates him at that point. Eventually, Rachel Dawes, she's holding little Joffrey Baratheon. They're running away from all the crazy inmates and stuff. But you know who they're fucking confronted by? Jonathan Crane, Scarecrow. And she's like, Crane, no, Scarecrow. And his horse breathes fucking fire. It's like, whoa, this is so cool. And he's chasing them after a horseback jet, trying to hit him with an axe and shit. It's like, oh my fucking God. And eventually, and all Jonathan Crane does is puns and quotes. He's like, the only thing to fear is fear itself. And she takes out a little taser and she shoots him right in the fucking eye. He's like, ah! And he gets electrocuted as the horse drags him away. Great scene. But oh no, more Arkham inmates are showing up, including Victor Zsasz. He's like, come here, it's okay, come here, I got you. He's giving to me. And she's like, oh shit. And she's holding little Joffrey Baratheon, who's just fucking scared. And he's like, Joffrey Baratheon, he's just going, it's okay, Batman's gonna be here. He's gonna save us. He's gonna be here. And she's like, just look away. And Vaz is like, about to stab him, chat. But then who fucking shows up? Batman. And he punches Zsasz in the face and he kicks him up in the air, chat, beats up all the criminals. And little Joffrey Baratheon's like, see, I told you he'd be here. And he's like, are you guys okay? And like, we're okay, Batman, we're okay. And it's like, yay, everything's good. Everything's really good. Also, I think, is there another, so everything's great. Everything's going great at this point. And Rachel, she's like, well, thank you for saving us, baby. He's like, no problem, I gotta get going. He's about to launch himself off. He's like, wait a minute, tell me who you are. And he has this great, it's not who I am that defines me. It's what I do that defines me. And she's like, Bruce? And he fucking launched himself up. He's like, that was so badass. And it was badass. It was badass. And we see this one shot where he becomes a very scary bat kite. It's like, this is the one effect. I'm like, that doesn't look good. People are like looking up at Batman. It's a wonderful scene of him flying over the this just giant alleyway of all these just launder over the place, yeah. Just trash all around. Just beautiful, beautiful shot. But when people look up, they see like this really shitty looking Batman kite. It's like with a scary glowing face. And eventually, he lands that because Ra's al Ghul, they're lifting the microwave emitter into the train. Because what they're gonna do is we're gonna fucking go all around Gotham. And go to the central hub of Wayne Enterprise where all the water, the hydraulics are for the water supply, and it'll explode, and it'll cover the entire city, not just the Narrows at this point. And so they're getting this up. But they hear all this, like Ra's hears all this screaming, they're all looking around, and we see fucking Batman just land right there, just like, ah. And Ra's is like, I think you took me a little too seriously about the theatrics. And it's like, I'm going to stop you. He's like, are you now? How are you going to beat our fucking army? And he takes him down one by one. He fucking launches himself at one guy. They fall through, chat. Punches the shit out of all these ninjas. All these League of Shadow assassins, Chad takes them out, as you do. Ra's taught him well. I'll teach you to take down not one man, but 1,000. He does that, Chad, one after the fucking other. The thing is, though, it's getting serious because then all these other people start amassing, like these normal Gotham citizens just start tearing Batman apart, just kind of like, just trying to kill him because they see the, we see this glowing, his eyes are glowing, kind of like a little homage to the Batman white eyes from like the comics and the animated series. He opens his mouth, it's like, oh, and they all start scratching him, trying to kill him. And Batman, he sees the train moving. Ra's is on the train at this point. He's going to take it to the Wayne Enterprises building where all the water is. And he launches in. Batman's like, fuck it. He grapples to it, Chad, like lifts up in the air. A couple of people go with him. They fall down. And we get this wonderful shot of Batman just flying through the air. Also, Batman said, Jim, I need to help me out here. You need to drive the Batmobile and make sure they don't fucking get there, okay? So you got to stop the train. You got to stop the train. If I'm not able to stop it, you got to blow the fuck out of it. And Jim's like, okay, so Jim, he's riding in the Batmobile, which I think is fucking hilarious. And he eventually gets to where the main hub of Wayne Enterprises. But meanwhile, Batman, he's fucking swinging from side to side. I love this. All practical. I mean, there's CGI here, of course. There's some really great practical shots of him just going through all this trash and sheet metal and stuff. And eventually, he gets up there, throws himself into the train shaft. He has like this, like just ready to beat the shit out of Ra's al Ghul. He's like, God, Jesus, you don't give up, dude. He's like, no, I don't. And they fucking go, they throw it down, chat. They're punching the shit out of each other this all the entire time. And Ra's seems to very much have the upper hand all the while, Chad. Batman's giving him a goddamn good fight. Eventually, Batman, he punches Ra's really hard in the face, and he goes up to the trying to slow down the train. But then Ra's comes up behind him, has a little stabby stab. And he stabs the controls, chat, so now the train can't be stopped because the trolls are just going out. They're just going super fast. Then we cut back to Jim Gordon, who is like trying to shoot this massive pillar where the train is connected, and he manages to miss. Misses the first time. Have this one guy walk up, hey man, nice car. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And Jim Gordon, Gary Oldman does like a really funny face thing. And he goes, oh, as he's about to shoot. And eventually shoots the pillar, chat, and part of the track comes down. And he's like, yes, I did it. And then eventually we cut back to Batman and Ra's. And Ra's is like, oh, Bruce is like, you couldn't stop that man from killing your parents. And you can't stop this train. And he's like, whoever said anything about stopping it? And he's like, what? And Ra's looks up and he goes, oh shit, the tracks are all gone. God damn it, that's not good. Also, we have the water hub guys who are like, if the fucking train gets here, it's going to explode. And then we're all going to fucking die. It's not good. Not good at all. And so at this point, Ra's is like, oh, Jesus. And Batman just fucking flips on him. Now he's on top of Ra's. And Ra's is the bottom bitch. And he's like, you never did mind your surroundings. He's got like these two batarangs, like Wolverine style, like holding him over him like this. And Ra's is like, and this, like, again, it doesn't make sense for how this Batman is defying his rules, but it's a badass fucking line, chat. It's a badass fucking line where Ra's is like, now you know what you must do. And you know, Batman's like, I'm not gonna kill you. And he has his little grenades and he explodes the back of the train and opens it up for him. But he turns back and he says, but I don't have to save you. And Ra's is like, what? Batman unfurls his cape and goes out the train. Rachel's like, ah, shit. And he looks ahead and he goes, oh, well. And the train just craters right through the fucking ground shit, right into the street, ends up in this underground parking garage. It's like, oh, maybe he'll make it out. Hits this pillar, flipping around and shit, and Jen, the microwave maker, just explodes. Taking Ra's al Ghul out. That is still murder. It is very much still murder. There's no question about that. Eventually, Jim, he gets out of the Batmobile at this point, and he sees Batman, glory shot just flying overhead. He's immortal, right? Well, not in this case. Maybe the title is immortal. But he starts flying ahead, and Jim Gordon's like, yeah, best bro Batman. He can't believe it. Eventually, Chad, we cut to, it's the next day. And good old Rutger Hauer, he's walking in the office and things. And who does he fucking see there, Chad? Morgan Freeman handing out papers and shit. He's like, I thought I fired you, Mr. Fox. And he goes, yes, you did, but I got a new job. And he's like, which job is that? Yours. And Rutger Hauer's like, what? And he calls Bruce Wayne on the phone. He's like, the fuck's going on, Bruce? He goes, yeah, I want to make some changes. He's like, what are you talking about? You don't own the company. He's like, actually, I do. I bought most of the shares. He's like, shit, yeah, all those companies and those medical companies, technical companies, I own all of them. And it's a little technical. But Lucius Fox, he's now the supreme leader of Wayne Enterprises. Isn't that right, Mr. Fox? He's like, right, you are, Mr. Wayne. And Lucius looks at Rutger Hauer says, didn't you get the memo? It's like, ooh, good callback. A lot of good callbacks in this movie. Eventually, then, chat, we cut back to Wayne Manor, which has been Alfred says, here's a newspaper today. Batman made page 1. Bruce Wayne made page 8. It says, drunken billionaire burns down home. We go to Wayne Manor, completely fucking burned. They're sifting through all the burned out shit. Bruce finds the stethoscope of his father, Thomas Wayne. Get a little flashback there, remembering his dad. Eventually, Rachel comes there and starts to talk to Bruce and says, hey, how you doing? He says, Rachel, hi, Rachel, how you doing? Sorry, I used the Batman voice there. She goes, yeah. And he's like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you about everything I'm doing as Batman. She's like, it's okay. I'm glad you told me now. I mean, what you're doing is pretty crazy, but you did save all these people. You did save my life multiple times, so thank you. And he goes, yes. But he's like, that is just a mask, Rachel. It's not who I truly am. She goes, no. This is your mask. Like Bruce Wayne, which is true. Bruce Wayne is the mask. Batman is the true person. And she goes, this is the face of the man I fell in love with, the face of someone who is long gone. Bruce, I can't do this. I can't be with you. This is not how it is. I'll always love you, but I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. Smooch, platonic face smooch, and she leaves. He's like, fuck. He's like, all right, I guess I'm Batman. And then he goes and talks to Alfred, and he's like, I'm going to build a brick to brick, Alfred, just how it originally was. He's like, originally how it always was, sir? He's like, well, a few modifications for Batman activities. Of course, Alfred. He goes, hell yeah. Are we best buds? Am I complicit in you being vigilante? He goes, yes, you are, bro fist. Eventually, Chad, we then cut to the top of GCPD, where we see the bat symbol, Chad. We see it lighting up the night sky. And Jim, he turns when he hears a little knock on the bat symbol, and Batman goes, nice. I love that line. He just goes, nice. And he goes, yeah, I couldn't find any mob bosses, so I decided to make this. He's like, and Jim's like, listen, thank you for everything you've done. Really do appreciate it. But listen, you started some stuff here, right? You started some real crazy shit. And Batman's like, what do you mean? And he's like, what do you mean? This is escalation. This is escalation. I mean, we carry semi-automatics. They buy automatics. We wear Kevlar. They buy armor-piercing rounds. And Batman's like, and then what? He's like, and you're wearing a mask, jumping off rooftops. And Batman's like, whatever. And he's like, here, take this guy. Has a taste of theatrics like yourself. Has a calling card, and he hands him this, like, and this, when I saw this movie theater, people lost their fucking minds when they saw this, chat, where he hands him the card in the little Ziploc bag. He's like, you know what it is, and he turns it over. Joker. It's like triple homicide, and I let all that shit, and he goes, I'll look into it. It's like, yeah, you will, and it'll destroy you. It'll destroy you and hurt a lot of people that you love. So already establishing that the Joker is out there doing all this crazy shit. Really cool. Eventually, he's got to look into it, and he goes over the precipice, jump off the building. But Jim Gordon goes, "Listen, but in all seriousness, I just wanted to thank you. I want to thank you for what you did. And Batman turns around and says, you'll never have to. And he jumps off, chat. And Jim's like, yeah, Batman. We see the glory shot of Batman gliding away, chat. And then it cuts. And that, my friends, is Batman Begins. An excellent superhero origin film, chat. Probably my second favorite cinematic take on the Caped Crusader. Oh, it's, you know what? Give this a rating. Thank you, show, for the 10 biddies. My heart's a pitter-pattering as we speak. I'm trying to think of I'm caught between a very high full price and a better than sex. The thing is, what prevents me from maybe giving this a better than sex, chat, is just the act, some of the fight sequences. It's like, I want to see Batman actually fight, and that's like, you just had that'd be good. But I'm gonna settle at a very, very high full price. Very high full price, chat. That's what I would give it for me. Damn, you're about to cry right now. Giselle absolutely enjoyed the review very much, brother. Thank you. I know this is a long one, chat. I told you this would be one of my longest reviews I've done. It's up there. Just tell it you love it. All right, it's a better than sex. It's a better than sex film, chat. I have a few criticisms of it, but what it does right is that it gets Batman right. It goes into his psychology, who he is, his code, his connections with people. Like, this is a very personable Batman movie. It does not only for Batman, but also for someone like Jim Gordon, also for someone like Alfred. You know, that was really cool. A great connection to his villain like Ra's al Ghul. It's like a father figure. Great job. Gave context to Thomas Wayne. Really loved it for that. So I would give it better than sex. Better than sex, chat. It's goddamn good. Excellent review of a great movie. Thank you, Ingenuity. Thank you. Nah, Chris, you were right the first time. I was like, nah. Rachel drop point. Rachel. This reminds me of people why Batman so. It is. One of my great lead. Oh, yeah, he's great. He's wonderful in the movie as Ra's al Ghul, Henri Ducard. It's a very good job. And I was just so thrilled to see Ra's al Ghul in something. I never thought we'd ever see him in a live-action Batman movie. I was like, well, fuck, here he is. Chris, have you seen the new Superman TV show? It's actually starting off. I have not yet. I watched the clip and I was like, this looks good. I watched the clip. I've not watched. Controversial opinion, I like this movie better than Dark Knight. I don't think that's controversial, AJ Daniels. I know a lot of people that feel the same way as you do. And the point they always make, and it's true, is that Batman is very much, he is the focus of this movie. Through and through. Whereas Joker, because Joker is such a naturally charismatic, he's one of the greatest villains of all time. He gets a lot of focus in that film. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I totally see where you're coming from. Yeah. Should put up a fear counter. You saying his name wrong? No, his name is Ra's al Ghul. The movie got it wrong. They call him Ra's al Ghul. That's not how you say his name. His name is Ra's. I'm going by Batman animated series rules. They call him Ra's al Ghul in that. 10 pocket sands out of 10 pocket sands. Thank you, Osnick, for that. Choosing between whether Batman gets Dark Knight's better is like choosing between a hot blonde and a hot brunette. Is either way. Fair enough. Yeah, no, they're both great movies, Chad. Like, I totally understand if you like one over the other, but yeah, they're great. This is my second favorite one, for me personally. Wonderful, 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 wonderful movie. Hamilton Burger, ever seen Kangaroo Jack? Oh, hell yeah, man. I saw that in the theaters way back in the day when 2003. Much like I saw Batman Begins. Yeah. But now, my friends, oofa, I need a break. I need a break, chat. So I'm going to go ahead and refreshen my beverage. I wonder how long that review was, because I know we took a brief break for the hype train. That's definitely up there for my longest reviews. That's up there with like the Spider-Man films and Star Wars movies, I think. Yeah. Such amazing detail. Thank you. No, that's what I do, chat. Alex Manal's like, oh my God, I have so much to edit. Never mind. Will you read a Batman erotic fanfic dressed as Batman? I think I have to now since you put it out there. Yes, Nia Brownie, I will do that someday. I will read erotic Batman fan fiction in full Batman regalia. No question. Close to 2.5 hours? I'd say so. I think it was at least as long as the movie itself. At the very least. You see, I mean, sequel to Kangaroo Jack? I didn't know that was a thing until people were posting about it on Facebook. I had no idea. Oh, my Lord, chat. I'm going to take a brief break in the meantime. Please, chat, entertain yourselves amongst yourselves. I'm going to get some to drink, and I'll be right back. Stick around.